All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Altered Weekly Online League Season 4, Monday Weekly number 5, actually. I am Blue, also known as Blue Oak TV on YouTube and everything else. So subscribe, hashtag ad, and just happy to be here all alone by myself. Chili will be here momentarily, deciding to make money and actually work today for some reason. I don't know why. Tomorrow's Veterans Day, though. I didn't realize that, or at least here in the U.S., it's Veterans Day, and that a lot of people should have that off. So we should have just moved that to Tuesday. We might have more people to available to cast, but it's fine. It's fine. You'll have me for today, and I'll hang out here with all y'all. So be sure to message in the chat so I have people to talk to in the meantime. Hello, everyone. Cole's sick and making some ramen. Um, LJ out there. Hello. But yeah, we are minutes away here from the AWOL season 4. Monday weekly, number 5. Have a lot of good matches in store, I am sure. See what people can do. And then also, if you're haven't done it yet, be sure to check out the Altered Game Found for the next set, Seeds of Unity. And if you haven't yet, call up your local game store and tell them they have, I don't know how much time they actually have today to order, but tell them to do it now or else. They're probably not open. Game stores usually don't open until like noon, sometimes 11, but they're on gamer hours. Either way, we're 1 minute away. Let's take a look at other people that we have join in. A lot of the usual suspects. Um, some world championship qualifier players in there, shaking things up, seeing what they could bring to this setup. What do we have as far as last minute entrance? Ooh, Belteshazzar. All right. Anyone else? Anyone else? Yeah, get some more last minute entrants. Argon jumping in there. Some spaghetti players, some Altered Aces players, pumping up the numbers a little bit. Nice. We'll take it. And then we'll see what we got going. Poland, we have Independence Day tomorrow, so today a lot of people also have a free day for a longer weekend. Yeah, I don't know why we don't here in the States. We just have the Tuesday, and they're making us work on the Monday. A lot of times when we have like a holiday on Tuesday or Thursday, they give us the other day, but not in this case. But yeah, it's Independence Day. It's probably essentially the same thing as far as like um military related stuff. Poland had to deal with different problems associated with that, so makes sense. But yeah, we are at the time here, so we'll take a look at the matchups and we'll get right into it. All right, we are in fact all matched up. Let's see who we want to watch. Ooh, we have a teammate battle. I don't know. A lot of good players. A lot of possibilities. Well, I don't know. Any suggestions in the chat? People you guys want to watch? In my case, we received the free Monday because 1st November, All Saints Day was on Saturday, so we're bound. Oh, okay. Yeah, I like when they push over the holiday over to that you get it anyway if it falls on the weekend. That is nice. Let's just stop messing around. We can just pick one. Let's go to table. Let's watch for Nico. Table 11 for a good for Nico game. Oh, you know what? I think I forgot to let me make sure that the gameplay screen is ready. down it first. Do, 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 do. Perfect. Go to game and transition. All right, we're back in it. We got Fernico versus Subek, a good old fashioned Trace versus Kojo matchup. No new crazy cards that I've seen quite yet pop up after the first day, just a one for one. But we may see some other things pop up as far as newer cards. I should log in so that way y'all can see it correctly. Oopsie. See, I'm by myself and I forget all the prep. It's crazy. All right. There we go. Should be fine now. All right, we didn't miss anything. No worries. I'm fast. Ooh, okay. You're gonna shadow watching. I appreciate the view count at the very least, LJ. Enjoy your stream and enjoy the lower part of the bracket. Let's see. Looks like the trace player is gonna go away from the companion side there a little bit. Doesn't want to contest. Makes sense. Seems like both players are gonna be happy with a one for one setup here potentially. I'd be surprised to see the Trace not even play anything here. Maybe something from hand, put something in reserve. But other than that, doesn't really have to. Doesn't look like Kojo's planning on contesting on the hero side at all. I mean, I've already streamed once. I can't blame it on the coma for that. Cool. I guess just residual brain effects. I don't know. Guess I haven't told. I've just been telling everyone else that I'm fine. Definitely not mentally incapable. Trying to keep my job. But we do get to see that Axiom Salvager come out, so not so too surprising from Trace. Didn't really need the stats, but once put it in reserve, set themselves up here, and we're likely to see that as a turn 1 play here. But the, Kojo player does get the draw off this Erengar, so not too bad for either player, and they're set up pretty nicely on that companion side with the, Tiny Gen if they wanna make that their, turn 1 play. Turn 1 play? That? And maybe it is the coma. Only one scrap counter for the Trace player. Again, nothing new as far as cards are concerned. Seems like the basic decks that we've had for Trace and Kojo thus far. We'll see if anything else pops up. Wouldn't be surprised if there's an occasional new card or two coming from Skybound Odyssey hitting the board, but we'll have to wait and see if that's the case. Ooh, what a beautiful resupply. Even the Trace player, a lot of options here. Ooh, okay, okay. Setting up with the, Arcolano milk, that could just be a setup for the following day with the Buddha, planning on giving that side up, or they could just be using it as an additional boost there for the, Tiny Gen, which wouldn't be a bad setup either. Trace thinking a little bit, probably, doing some math in their head here. They could throw out both of the cards they have in reserve, but they are just gonna go with the Haven, and they unfortunately hit another Haven, so that's not gonna help too much. So they do have 4 stats here. They can play the uh, either card in reserve in order to equal the stats, and then technically they could also sacrifice that Haven they just played with the Grims and produce a Brass Bug if they want, and go up as far as advantage on the Tumult here. But still 2 stats or 2 mana rather, waiting for the Kojo player. So may not be the situation that they wanna go here for the Trace, and so, yeah, they are gonna opt to take the open side and assume that the Kojo won't be able to contest with 3 stats, and they, in fact, do not, and are happy with just taking the 1 for 1, and, we'll go on and, head to another day after another 1 for 1, dead even. 3 counters, though, for the Trace, and they are in a spot where on the following day, they can hit the 5th counter, start getting that engine online. Despite only having 1 card in hand, they're probably feeling pretty okay about that, considering they are close to getting that 5th scrap counter, and they do have the ability to resupply off the, 2nd Haven that they have in the reserve. Mana decisions, mana decisions. After that Taijin play, the, Kojo does have the mana advantage. A little bit of a hand advantage as well. We'll see how that comes out. We'll be having that Buddha available on the first turn play as well. We'll be pretty big on, what they're able to produce here, and we do see a unique come and hit the board. The Tame Time, I'm not sure how to say it. Tan. Uh, really cool unique, art, by the way. But, from anywhere again anchored, nice. 6/6, 3/4/4, and then if from anywhere, if I'm the only character in my expedition, target character gains 1 boost in fleeting. Okay, making the Buddha bigger. If you are the first player, put the top card of your deck in your mana zone. So a triple effect here. Really good. And see why the Kojo player might be one to using that. So they'll have a double mana advantage. We do get to see that second Haven come out for a resupply. We see a unique Jin, for 3/2/4/3/0 from hand. If you control 2 or more landmarks, you may activate the anywhere ability of target permanent, and from reserve, you may activate the anywhere of a target permanent. So that's what they end up doing, using the support ability. Don't need the stats. End up hitting a hooked though, so they may end up just deciding to use that and another lower cost card in order to just go 1 for 1. We'll see what they get off of the traceability now that they are at 5 counters though. Still 4 mana to work with. The Kojo player is fresh out at this point. They're gonna throw out another Grimm's, interesting. Makes me think that they don't have anything else that, is worthy to go in reserve at this point, because you could definitely see something that has a little more stats like a Doctor Frankenstein maybe, but instead they're gonna opt to throw out the Grims there, be able to stat over. Technically, they are gonna sacrifice in order to produce a Brass Bug, which means that they think they're gonna be able to stat over here, which they should be able to with another Grims play. And then they just have to get rid of the Haven here too to get a clean double advance, or they're just gonna go for the block. They are gonna go for the sacrifice and produce another brass bug, so they are gonna get the double advance, prioritizing the tumult over keeping those permanents for another day, going full aggro on this Kojo before they can get too far ahead with that mana advantage, and, see what they can do here as the turn 1 player. No Buddha out to see if they can try to finish this game off before the Kojo can try to catch up on the tumult and in the game. Let's have an opportunity here to just keep on going 1 for 1, or even make a surprise advance using that hook that we see in the reserve. Will be really important to see how the Kojo plays here shortly. They don't need the mana here, but they are going to keep that 2 mana advantage up to 9 at this point. A big play here would be potentially a hunger. I have to see if that's how it turns out. We get to see a restocking station hit the board here for the Trace player. Not us too much of a surprise. We've seen a lot of Axiom heroes prioritize using that card, and we will see a unique Alua Ridging Leviathan 6/7/5/5/6 in stats. Gigantic and tough one. From reserve, you may put a card from your hand to reserve. If you do, You may send target character to reserve, then exhaust it. So it's just straight up a gigantic card at this point. And we will see for Nico on the trace decide to slow things down here a little bit and see if they can find the stats that they need here to go for at least for a one for one, I imagine. Oh, and then a physical training is going to come out and hit the Halua. For Nico's going to need some type of removal to have to deal with that, or they're just going to give up the 2-0 here themselves and will be dead even on the tumult. We do get to see another Grims hit the board. So they're going to opt to just hook the Tane over, so that way it will get the boost, but it will gain fleeting from the milk. So no cards will be available for the Kojo player in reserve other than that physical training. And Trace player is gonna just go ahead and utilize the ability to augment that restocking station. Wasn't planning on keeping the one cost sap sniffer anyway, so may as well play it. So we will see a return at 2 for 0 on the tumult. Now things are dead even. The Kojo player still does have the advantage on as far as mana is concerned. The trace is working off of the ability that they have, but it could go either way at this point. Depends on what the trace can do in response to these big uniques that we've seen coming from the Kojo. Definitely been interesting to see these Skybound Odyssey uniques. They're not always necessarily better than ones we've seen previously, but they do a lot more interesting things, it seems like, and they kinda supplement a lot of things as far as some different strategies that you may wanna go for, and just fun to see, to be honest. Great arts. One thing the Trace players do tend to have some problems with sometimes are getting rid of those bigger characters unless they are running booms. But I don't often see them run too many of like 3 sets of booms. Maybe it's a 2 spot, maybe even a one-off kind of thing, but we'll see if that's the case here for Nico and the Trace, if they can even run into it. They are at 14 cards left in their deck, so unless they've managed their removal at this point, they might have a response for anything bigger that, the Kojo player might have. Kojo player did lose both of their big characters on the previous day from that Arcolano milk that gave them boosts, but they also gained fleeting as well. Now we're waiting on a play here. Maybe I should check to see if it's frozen. I'm gonna do a quick refresh. Looks like we were good. Just a little bit of paranoia. And we will see the hunger being played here. Gonna leave it all up to the trace to see how they want to deal with this. 8 mana is a good amount, and 777 isn't insurmountable here. They're gonna have 4 cards to play with, maybe more, and with that salvager, they're gonna have a little bit more to check. They are gonna start throwing stats down there to see if they can figure anything out. They run into the hooked, not necessarily something that'll help them at the moment. Ooh, and a rage pops up for the Kojo player, giving more stats and fleeting, making that hunger gigantic. That's going to make things a lot more difficult for the trace player. A unique hits the board, though, in the form of a Martingale 2-1-1-1-0. And from anywhere, you may put a card from your hand in reserve. It's a permanent. The next permanent you play this afternoon costs 1 less. From anywhere you in your hand reserve, if you do resupply, doesn't look like they're able to get anything based off of what they are resupplying and throwing in the reserve. So we may just be looking at a Kojo victory here based off of that hunger into rage play. Dr. Frankenstein will come out with 3 more stats, but that will only hit 7 at its peak. Oh, never mind, activating that to tie at least. So it'll only be a 1-0. I forgot the activation of the bug out bag. Makes more sense. For Nico able to hold things off here at the very least. Also deciding to hold on to that hook just in case. Was thinking that they may decide to use it just to try to get a card draw, but in this scenario decided not to. So they were able to hold off the Kojo player from getting that 2-0 after the really intense hunger to rage play. Nico holding on by a thread here and actually getting rid of the hooked. So it makes me think, why wouldn't they just have played it earlier to get the card draw if they were not planning on keeping it? So fortunate there. But, that's where we're at. Besides 2 mana. Not sure if it's a situation of they just didn't run into what they wanted, or they feel confident that they can do some resupply shenanigans and hit all the cards that they need. Have to see how it turns out. Kojo player is already ahead on mana, so if they want to keep the card advantage, they could also just decide not to play anything here. They also may just be looking at really big cards in hand too, because they have been playing a lot of big cards this far between their uniques and that hunger. So we'll see if that is the case. Another hunger hitting the board right now would be absolutely devastating for Fanico, and they decide to take the risk here with a frozen delivery. It doesn't get played by the Kojo player. Instead, they are going to play a Parliament of Ashes to get a resupply. And we do see that trace ability hit the board and for another permanent. Just going to start off with the unique Martingale. Not going to be able to use any of the abilities. Kojo player likely to throw something out here. Those airlift reefs won't be able to target anything that is higher than 2 costs. So that card in the reserve as far as the skater is going to be not going to have to worry about that. So at the moment here, it's going to be a situation of, I mean, realistically, the only plays left would be the Frankenstein into the bug out bag. We will see another higher cost card hit the board in the form of the Mighty Jin. Not looking too good here for Trace player for Nico. They're going to have to play that Dr. Frankenstein will hit the bug out bag. Probably just see the skater come out here. Should be enough to take over the hero side, and there won't be any other play here for Nico past that. They could have played on either side at this point. Gonna be enough stats there. Arrow the 3 hits the board. Doesn't have to target anything. Just playing to play at this point. We're looking at a 1 for 1, but with the advantage on the tumult, that will be enough for the Kojo to play. They could also just decide to play another rage here. Yep, and they will just to boost up what they already have. Will be a pass, and the Kojo player of Subek able to take it over for Nico on the trace. What a game. All right, everyone. Want to thank you for continuing to join us here. We got a fun little round one setup there between a Traced and a Kojo player. You are, in fact, watching the Altered Weekly Online League, Monday Weekly number 5. I am Blue Oak TV on YouTube, feel free to subscribe to me if you so choose. And yeah, currently by myself. Chili will be joining us for in about 40 minutes, and then we'll hang out for about an hour, and then I'll be out by myself again. But you know what? It's fine. I'm all you need sometimes, right? So yeah, still in the round one. Have a good amount of games played. And we'll see what we have left to watch. A lot of higher percentages. Actually, a lot of games going quick, so be surprised by that. Let me check something real quick here. Make sure my headset isn't gonna die on y'all. One second. We're gonna jump over to another game in the meantime, and you guys can watch while I put on my headset. Finn versus Sadi. Nice.
Hello, hello.
Oh,
Can
you
you
know
hear me?
what? I do have my charger.
All right, Blue, I am in once you get back.
All
And
right,
what's up, buddy?
we're
Can you hear
back
me?
in it. We do have a unique on the board of a Smoldering Gin, 44430 on the stats. When you pass first, put the top card of your deck into the mana zone, and then when a character you control gains fleeting, if you have less than cards in your hand than your opponent, target character and player reserve gains one boost. We get the GGs across the board. Finn able to take the game, it looks like.
All right, Blue, can you hear me at all?
And we'll head on back. A few more games left here to go in the round. How many times? We do have some hanging on for dear life here. So we'll just go to and catch the very end of any of these games.
All right, it looks like the
A
stream can hear me,
Sierra
but you can't,
versus an Afanis
Blue.
setup here. Interestingly enough, there are 2 hives out on the board, but, okay, so they are just deciding on mana here, so I was wondering where those, bugs were. I've already had hives out, but, Afanis, although not being played recently, we do have a player here stacking up those stats. Let's take a look at some of the uniques. We have a Sneezer Shroom 1/1, 0/0/0 in stats, but you may put a card from your hand in reserve. If you do, I get anchored. When you play a spell, if I have one or more boosts, resupply. So it's a resupply Faunus. This one's I gain anchored, and when you play a spell, resupply. All right. So we know what they're dealing with here. We will see the bugs hit the board. Gonna stack up on one side. All right. Maybe the Sierra has a way to deal with that 16/16/16 shroom.
All right, Blue, I don't know I don't want to keep interrupting you if you're talking and I'm talking. So I'm gonna stay quiet until you can actually acknowledge that you can hear me. I
Still
think it.
there?
Yes.
Maybe it's my headset then. One second, guys. There we go. Now I can hear him.
All right. Blue, long time no see. How are you?
I mean, I can't see you, so.
Oh, sorry, you can't see me, but I can hear you. This is as close as we're gonna get, even though we're only a few hours apart by plane. Blue, what table are you on so I can join you?
I'm not sure. I just joined one of the last ones available. Let me see here. It's at the very bottom. It's Aches versus Bar.
Thank you very much. I will find that and I will join you. How you doing, by the way? How's the recovery going?
It's good. It's good. Hanging out, still surviving, walking around. So that's the main thing, right?
You know what? One day above ground, right?
Mm-hmm. All right. Catching up on chat here. I haven't seen any hostage yet to guy trying, but doesn't mean it's not there.
Yeah, it's always lovely when you don't get to see too much of it.
Yeah.
It's too much of a good thing, right?
We do have a unique here for the Sierra player. Vajian, 32210 in stats. When a robot joins your expedition, I gain one boost for each card in your reserve, and at dusk, draw a card. So it helps out a lot there when it comes to those bugs. But still have to deal with that 16, 16, 16 sneezer shroom for that Aphanis at the moment. I assumed
uh,
that they had some type of removal, but it does not look like that's the case.
oh my goodness, insane. It's going to be a farness with the win is Shokobar. Have you heard much about Shokobar before? Seen him
Yeah,
yourself?
yeah, I've seen him play quite a bit, but I was, not expecting the resupply of Faunus to make a comeback.
I like it. I like it. After Worlds, only one person in out of the 32 players using a Farnus. Um, it felt a little weird to see him have such a low representation, and it really comes to show that slight change in the text really impacted people's perception of his ability to be played, at least the highest levels, right?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, we've seen the Sierra burn through all 9 of their mana, and the Afanis has yet to do that just from the sake of being able to, use cost reduction out of reserve after so many resupplies.
Yeah.
Um, could have continued to play there the entire time, still had 9 mana to play with, but instead is gonna opt to just put us out of our misery and let this round end probably. I think this is probably one of the last games, and then, we'll see what we have going on here for round 2.
Yeah. Let's hope so. So any updates from your end and things that you've heard over the last week from the AWOL side?
Or
Oh well, Equinox and GameFound right now. I believe we're basic. Have we crossed the 650,000? I think we have.
I didn't check, to be honest.
Yeah,
I'm more so interested in, like, store stuff and seeing how that goes.
yeah, and that should close tonight, right? They did say on the 10th was the last day for the stores to put in their pledges.
Yeah, they say the same
I
time.
expect them to be big.
Yeah, I just don't know what time it's gonna be. I assume it's gonna be Eastern time. I mean, not Eastern, European time.
Mhm.
But, we'll see. I know I've been trying to get one of my stores to finalize their stuff, because I know they were having issues, but we'll see if that's the case. Speaking of
Yep.
which, let me check my Discord. Make sure I'm not missing anything. Good, good, good. No, we're fine. Alright, cool. Um,
Nice.
alright, folks.
We're almost at the end now of round one.
We are. I was surprised to see that there's still something going on here. We'll probably just hold off before joining into a game. All right,
Yeah.
everyone. Thanks for joining us thus far. You are watching the AWOL Season 4 Monday Weekly number 5. I am Blue, joined finally here by Chili, able to get here a little bit
Yes.
earlier than planned. It's going to hang around as long as they possibly can. Chili, any profound words to say now that you're here?
No, I always for me this is of all the tournaments the one that I love watching the most. Um, and that's because it's there's so many people. And one thing you have to do here compared to, say, Worlds, for example, is you really do have to play the field. You don't know what people are going to be bringing in, and they could bring everything. Whereas when you're preparing for Worlds, and I think you said this in some of the discussions with Rinku, and so did we when we did ours for Hero's Guide to Escartha, um, that you're not looking at the entire pool. You have to be prepared for everything in this game, and it is so difficult to go undefeated.
Indeed it is, but someone always does it. So,
Yeah.
congrats to that person ahead of time. Either way, like we mentioned, there are just, I think 1 game left, and I think it's in a tiebreaker, so that's probably what we're waiting on here. And then after that, we'll jump into Swiss round 2. Wanna thank everyone that has joined us thus far in the chat. Haven't seen anything too crazy yet, like any type of hostage or stuff, but, yeah, still round 1. Gonna jump in round 2 here momentarily. LJ back after, streaming a little bit of their games. Then we'll, get things going. Anything in particular that, you're excited to see from these setups?
You know,
I think everyone in general is always looking for the new heroes to pop up and seeing what people can see from those, but, you got anything else?
yeah, and you know what? The or new dynamic. Like, how are they using new cards? Is anyone doing any of the new, I guess, abilities that have come out in other heroes? And I don't mean like Ascend for Sigisma, but I'm like, is anyone using Ascend outside of Ordis? Is anyone using Rush outside of Bravos? Things like that. Just something that's going to catch people unaware. Um, but when in most cases, what you're seeing is people taking advantage of cards made for the new heroes in the old heroes. You're seeing that with Sigisma. I don't know so much about Soul. I think Soul has a very unique play, and I really, really love what she does. But and on the other side, can anyone master and get the wins with Muna?
Yeah.
Because
I th
Cowrie messes with me as a Sigisma player, absolutely messes with me. But the hunger's still prevalent in a lot of decks. So that's really hard. Sierras are really cool. Sorry, I'm just babbling right now. I think
No, it's fine.
Sierra doing what be getting some strong performance of late, despite their game plan really just being completely nerfed once the hunger comes out. But yet
Yeah.
they've still been able to perform really strongly.
Yeah, I think there's a few new cards that are pretty good with Sierra. The Depot being able to
Mhm.
draw off of the 3 cost is probably a pretty big one, especially when you can mechanical training it. A few other cards, I think it was the Brass Bug, something or other. I forget the name of it, but it's the one where once it's sacrificed, you produce a Brass Bug on either end, is also pretty good at 3 cost. So
Yeah.
yeah, they're both pretty fun. I think the only times I've seen a lot of ascending outside of, Ortis is when occasionally we'll see, a Skybound Odyssey being played on the Bravos end
Mhm.
of things, so, we'll have to see if anyone is able to do something else other than that, but we are live for round 2 at the moment, and we can take a look at these games to see what we got going on next. Do you have a preference in what we join, or should we just pick one at random?
Yeah, you know what? Let's pick some of the guys at random. Although, yes, let's do that. I was going to try to look at some of the Italian players, the spaghetti team.
Mhm.
It's easy to see those guys, Maddox being one of them.
Yep.
Um, but not sure which one you'd like to join.
I mean, we could look at Maddox at table 18.
Yeah,
Makes it
table
easy.
18. So they've already started, so which means they're probably about second day. If we're looking at him, we are seeing Sol against Maddox. Is no way. Arjun, really?
See? Good game to jump into.
Look at that. Wow, this is going to be really fascinating to see what they've got. Talarian Skater is a fantastic card for them to play out, Arjun, just to get the ability out. And they've already got another way of anchoring through Mana Druid. So let's see what they end up doing. I guess now, what would be the gameplay though for Maddox in this case using Arjun? Is it a 1-to-1 till the very end,
Yeah, I
or
don't
do
know.
you
It
try to get it?
it depends on if there is some type of gimmick that they're trying to go for with
Hmm.
the type of Arjun, which you feel like has to be the case when you see someone play Arjun to some capacity, because it doesn't feel like if you just play a straight up tempo game with Arjun that you're gonna win, unless you have some really good uniques that just outpace your opponent. But if your opponent's able to do the same thing, it really doesn't matter. So I'll be curious to see if that is the case. We do have Seoul already getting their first counter on day one, and it looks like they will get it for day two. Although Arjun did get the 1-0 advantage on the tumult on that day one. So a good start for Arjun, but I don't think Seoul's stressing too much, especially since they're about to get that second counter and putting themselves that much closer to Halua setup.
Oh, very interesting. What are they going to play that will be able to give them? Also, they could have gone for a one for one, well, 1-0, but opting to anchor the aloe vera, which will give them resources for future days, which is really good. And potentially that aloe vera can stick around a fair bit. Um, Now, yeah, I don't know what the gameplay is, but I'm really fascinated by Maddox and what it brought out. And they're not a bad player given their what they've got in terms of their victory points.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, the Soul player is setting themselves up for a boosted Halua. They do have the milk out on the board on the companion side with two counters. So if they are able to pass first, they will have a 3/3/3 statted character over
Hmm.
on the companion side. So I'll be curious to see if they have like a rush setup here, so that way they can go first. Or honestly, no. I mean, technically, Arjun could still just play off of one card if they so choose. If they want to avoid the setup of that milk, we'll have to see how this one starts off. I wouldn't be surprised to see some type of rush, like an Altruin teammate, hit the board here or something else. But in the meantime, we'll have to see what they do. Either way, like you mentioned, though, the um, Argent player is going to be able to keep that aloe vera out unless they get hit with something there as far as that
Look
Mono
at
Druid.
that.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, that they'd be able to use that for an anchor, but with going first, a Haven Bouncer hits the board. Not a card that we see a lot anymore, to be honest.
Not at all. But by doing this, I guess the question is, will Hohenzollern just pass? So they could pass and get the card, or will they play something else out? I think smarter to pass, but then there's the potential of actually losing out on both sides.
Yeah.
If
One stat's not too insurmountable here, and we will see the Requiem hit the board, which will be enough for that double advance here.
hmm But I'm still like, if I'm Arjun, I'm still not feeling safe. From now on, you're going to have a Halua out every turn. If they do pass against twice more, then we're going to have that be gigantic. And we also have Pit Yoshi having a whole bunch of cards in their hand. They've got five now, but they may discard down to four, so they do have the card advantage on that side.
Yeah, it's really gonna be dependent on how aggressive this Argent is able to play this deck. I assume that most of the time their plan is to just stay consistent, get resources off of things, like the aloe vera to in order to resupply, but not sure if they can get really aggressive. But if they can, that would be the ideal time to do it. They are 3 spots up on the tumult. If they can just manage to just throw as much as they possibly
Mm.
can onto one, either the hero or the companion expedition, more than likely going to be the hero expedition, so that they can run away from that Halua. But and just keep on one for oneing for the rest of the time, or even if occasionally they give up a 2 for 1, they're gonna be okay. But with
Hmm.
limited resources and I'm not sure how many stats, I don't know if that's the case. We'll have to see if they get anything good, and you know what? Inari, not too bad.
That'd be great for the card draw. Now, let me ask you a question here. Do you think have you seen many of the soul builds bring in hunger, or are they just focused more on the Halua and other things that will give you gigantic?
I feel like if you're playing Bravos, you should use hunger in some capacity, if not
Agreed.
just one off or two off. But some of the better soul decks I have still seen the hunger in play, especially since a lot of them also utilize milk more than we've seen. For example, Kojo's or Basira's use it previously. I think milk's becoming a little bit more popular now, being able to utilize not just the boosts, but the fleeting that you get from it, more than just for the hunger one-off play, you know? So, we'll see if, that's the case, but it seems like it's more popular now, and if you have the milks, if you're running 2 or 3 of them, you may as well be running hunger, because it's really hard to beat a milk into hunger play where you get that gigantic character.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And what we're looking at here is Arjun really trying to play for the one for one. This Soul deck seems to have a lot of removal. So second time that we've seen a sabotage with the harpooner this time.
Yeah, it's surprising. I've actually seen a lot of or not a lot, but a good amount of soul decks that actually don't run a lot of spell removal and focus on a lot of things like sabotage coming from the harpooner, and in this
Hmm.
case, even the bouncer as well. And instead, just prioritizing getting a lot of characters on the board and playing a lot like that, and then occasionally having things like the milk and even a Skybound Odyssey to play cards even quicker, and not necessarily prioritizing things like Mana Eruption or Duel of Grit as far as spell removal is concerned. Don't know if that's the case for this particular soul, but I have seen a few different souls decide to play that way.
Yeah, not bad at all. Like, let's see what ends up happening. I Arjun's kind of stuck in a little place right now where they don't have any cards really available to them. So that that lead is going to evaporate very quickly unless they have a unique that allow them to get some cards.
Yeah, the bad thing is that on the resupply they hit the mana reaping instead of something else. Mana reaping not bad, but probably not what they were looking for unless the soul decides just to rip something big here. But even then, they're going to have to deal with a 3/3/3 gigantic Halua on the board, which
Hmm.
is enough to at least block them in the forest zone on companion, and then also be able to produce a decent amount of stats over on the hero side. So we'll see what ends up happening here. We do get to see a unique Ortis Gatekeeper coming out from the Arjun player.
Yeah, and it's not too bad, but you need to find a card that has boost. So I'm hoping that's what they've got in hand. Otherwise, there's no way they would have played it. But when a character you control gains one or more boosts, up to one target character with hand cost three or less gets a boost, and we'll see what ends up happening with what's coming out, or a second unique coming out. But there's no boosting. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Phileas.
So was able to keep out the second unique, potentially trying to combo that out here shortly. We do get the Filius Fogs. Those have definitely been a favorite for a lot of the Souls decks as far as getting those unique Filiuses that have a from anywhere you may immediately pass, as well as usually another ability that's pretty um, conducive to their strategy. Some of them ramp, some give boosts. It really doesn't matter. But it does help out regardless of the situation. And we will see a 1 for 0 here. And now, despite that early lead, the Arjun
Hmm.
not able to maintain it, and we are dead even on the tumult here. The Soul does have 5 counters already. They do finally get rid of that milk, but they also already have the hand advantage. Now it's just going to be up to this Arjun player essentially able to chain these uniques that they have, but they need something that has a boost, like you mentioned before,
Hmm.
because
Let's see.
otherwise you may as well be playing Tasia, right?
Yeah, it almost feels like this deck plays much better in Taja with that. But I don't know. They've got lots of options available too. That's the opportunity. And in essence, if I'm playing Arjun in this case, I'd be looking at finding a way to just go one and one, but having a whole bunch of board state for the next day. It's whether or not you'll be allowed to by the amount of cards that are in play um, by Pit Yoshi, given he also has one additional resource. Now, this is the hard part, though, is he may have to, or they may have to actually pass beforehand. And if they do, then sorry, if the Halua doesn't come out by passing early, we're going to see what ends up happening here.
Yeah, the Argent player taking their time here. I'm gonna do a quick refresh to make sure that BJ isn't frozen.
So I'm seeing the same thing on my end.
Either way, we're good there. Doesn't hurt to do it. Still waiting for the Argent player to make a decision here. Yeah, I mean they can play that other unique. Stats aren't great for either side for them. I guess technically they could play it on the same side as the Druid unique, but I don't know if that's going to help them too much.
Well, if
Like,
they do that, regardless, they can do it. Get the boost and get a card anchored. Right.
yeah,
That's the sole boosting card that we see right now.
Yeah, it's just the thing that they'd have to play on the companion zone. If that's the case,
Hmm.
then it wouldn't be protected by that floral tent, and it isn't in the ideal stats there either
Hmm.
for the companion zone. So that's the only thing that I was thinking.
Yeah,
But
and Maddox is putting like some comments on it, saying just a hard choice, and Yoshi's saying no worries at all. Like it is, it's a hard decision to say how will I start this play to give themselves some level of chance. They've had to play that out purely for the double boost that are going to come out and the anchoring that will also be in place.
yeah, now we might get to see if we do have some removal here coming from the other player in the form of, I mean, spells, realistically anything as far as the soul's concerned, or if they're just gonna straight up play the characters. They could have some lower cost things. They could have something that just burns 8 mana here immediately. I'm not sure.
Mm.
There that is also always the possibility. We'll have to see that if that is the case. Still 4 mana left here for the Arjun player. Is running the customary common Alaveras instead of the rares because typically you can just anchor them without needing that additional mana that you would see on the rares.
Hmm.
Be curious to see if that is what they do end up playing. They have something else that does boost in their hand to try to anchor even more characters. I think the biggest thing for them at the moment is always going to be not get 2-0'd here because if they do get 2-0'd, obviously the game ends and they can't really take advantage of those double anchored uniques that they have.
Hmm.
Oof.
Oh, wow. Okay, so it is going to be a 1 for 1. Um, and there's potential here that it may not be a 1 for 1. It's 5 4 3. Can Arjun get enough stats on one side and make it 1-0? Oh no, no.
they may just decide to prioritize the companion zone and just deal with a 2/2/2 Halua on that side,
Hmm.
because they will have to deal with the gigantic Halua that would go over
Yeah.
to the hunger side, so it would essentially be trying to get up to 9 water. So they would need even more. So at this point, we're probably, if they can play on the companion zone, they resupply into a non-character. I don't know if they have any other characters to play. The Kari's intervention is not going to be anything that they need at the moment. They are going to utilize the ability here, so we may get to see an anchor into a cuddly corgi, which will get a boost, and that will be enough
Look
here.
at, oh my goodness, just in forest.
Yeah, just enough there to at least put themselves even. They will have to deal, obviously, with a potential gigantic hunger on the following day and just gigantic everything. They do get to have the advantage of having that cuddly corgi available for the following day. So all is not lost, but they're going to need a little bit of luck here on some resupply
Hmm.
plays. And that corgi might just be the area of as far as helping things get boosts on occasion and being able to anchor things up. But it also just leads to my same question earlier is that it almost feels like this still is just better if you're playing Atasia, but maybe Maddox has some other things that they've been trying to work out specifically with Arjun.
Yeah, maybe we're going to get another hunger. Yep. Oh my goodness, second hunger.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we do have that Sap Duende, which would be a big hunger kind of annihilator on occasion, but that was in reserve, and it's not going to help them out at all here.
Now,
If they even have a character in hand, who knows if they do?
yeah, but on the other side, I guess if you even if you play Requiem to get rid of what they've got, nothing here. It is a 2-0. Congratulations. 12 12 12 in stats as the last play. Fantastic for them. Yeah. Although Maddox is still trying to see what they can get there with their three resources, there's just nothing that's going to give you as much.
Gonna go
Rough.
ahead, yeah, gonna go ahead and pass. Good game either way. Kept it close. Had a 3 spot advantage on the tumult at one point.
Hmm.
Not able to maintain it though, and that's just kind of the woe of Arjun on occasion. Even getting the lead, you're not able to get the victory. But we'll head on back. For anyone watching, you are watching the Altered Weekly Online League Season 4, Monday Weekly number 5. I am Blue, Blue Oak TV on all other media. Subscribe, hashtag ad. Joined today by Chili, at least for an hour or so, till they have
Yeah,
until they have to actually make money elsewhere.
I
Chili,
know,
how are
right?
you doing?
Doing great, doing great. I don't know if you saw, but I talked to some of the guys. My we have a nanny at home, so both Heather and I work. We've got three little girls under six,
Mhm.
and one, unfortunately, our nanny decided to reverse our Telluride without lifting up the garage door.
Mm,
Yeah,
unfortunate.
so it's a very unfortunate, especially like there are employee, and anything that happens on the clock for them, it's still on us.
Yeah.
But also, they don't earn that much money, right? That's and I'm just like, oh, would that have been a worst Friday? Uh, but anyway, that's let's see. Otherwise, I'd be putting more money on the game found if the wifey let me, right?
Yeah. You I think, 6 boxes is enough.
Yeah, well, I ended up getting 12 for
Oh,
me.
okay. I was gonna say 6
Um,
cases originally, but, I mean, if you're only gonna go 2, just
yeah, only two cases. But one of the things with us and a number of other, mostly AQZ people and people here in Utah, we ended up getting 48 boxes together.
yeah.
So we're putting our part in,
Yeah, doing our part.
doing our part, doing our part. Absolutely. Hey, question for you while we
Yeah,
wait for the next game, and you let us know which one you want to go to.
yeah.
Um, who, which of all the heroes that's out now currently intrigues you?
I mean, I've just been trying to play the new heroes. Every new deck that I've been making for, like,
Okay.
locals, I've just been playing a new hero on occasion. I did play a little bit of Sierra as far as, like, a not new hero, because I liked some of the cards, and Sierra has always been one of my favorite Axiom heroes,
Hmm.
just to play, and I like Sierra in particular. Um, but I don't know if it's gonna be anything special. But, other than that, I mean, could go anyway. I like the idea of Soul, but I don't know if it's gonna break through if you don't have,
Hmm.
the specific types of uniques. Although I do think the uniques for this recent set of Skybound Odyssey are probably some of the, more intriguing ones to finally take the spots of, the Beyond the Gates uniques that everyone still likes, right? So,
Yeah,
let's hit the table 26 though, and we can keep talking though.
absolutely. Let's go in there.
Oh, JK, it's
So,
done.
okay. Oh, Aristarch? Yeah.
Mhm.
That
So,
how did that progress so quickly?
I don't know. Sometimes, BGA lies to you. Let's see. Man, round 2's going quick.
Yeah, around table 14 still seems to have a little bit if you want to
Yeah,
go there.
let's do it.
Petro 99 against Shishido.
Let's do it. And it is, Lindaway versus a Kojo. Nice.
Oh, well, Kojo is very close. And this is the Kojo build that many people are using with Skybound Odyssey. Skybound Odyssey in Kojo works if you have card draw as part of your unique. Otherwise, you may not be able to get the full benefit. Yes, you do get a card draw automatically for Skybound Odyssey, but then you're more than likely going to be flooding your reserve. So let's see what ends up happening here. I really hope Lindaway. I love Lindaway. I love to seeing it do well. But let's see what Shai Shido can do.
Yeah, Lindaway is interesting. It's an interesting hero. I think the problem with Lindaway is I've never been like particularly a fan of playing Lindaway. I understand. I think it's probably one of the coolest heroes as far as like mechanics are concerned. But the
Hmm.
problem is that there's just quite not quite enough there as far as cards for Lindaway at the moment. The same way we got a bunch of sacrifice support recently for Axiom and as far as like landmarks and permanents and everything, we're gonna need to see something similar for Linda Way before we see Linda Way take off in particular. Otherwise, we're just gonna see a bunch of variations of players trying to make Linda Way work, but I don't know if it's gonna quite get there yet until we see some more cards.
Yeah, we can potentially now. And the other thing that talking about heroes that at the AMA that was released a couple of weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, they
Mhm,
talked about set rotation coming in. No real timeline was made, though. They have advised it will not happen in 2026. My hope is it doesn't even happen in 2027. It goes until 2028, so you have enough sets to be able to play with, rather than just having 3 sets available
mhm.
to play with. But they were talking about set one, two, and three all completely going, and then that allows the creation of the eternal format, right?
Yeah.
Now, still think that's a lot.
Yeah. No, I mean,
This,
at any point we see if we ever see Beyond the Gates get rotated out, that's gonna be a big, shock regardless of, when they do it. I mean, no offense to the other sets, but, like, Trial by Frost, yeah, there's a few cards in there, obviously, that can be staples, and then, so same thing for Whispers from the Maze, but as soon as Beyond the Gates potentially gets rotated out, that's gonna
mhm.
be, like, the biggest shift in the meta that we'll ever see for quite some time, so we'll
Oh,
have to see how that one
absolutely.
turns out.
Absolutely, and if you look at it from the cards that are getting played on Board Game Arena and most of the tournaments, including AWOL, you're seeing, prior to Skybound Odyssey, being more than 60% or approximately 60% of all cards played are coming from set one, from Beyond the Gates.
Mhm,
Now, what this allows some changes to occur, though, is if you, how would I put it? If you take out one set one, two, and three, right now only 10% of all the decks have, less than 10% of the decks have Skybound Odyssey, right? So very, very difficult. But I think it, like, even if you just remove Beyond the Gates, I think it would absolutely change the meta completely, and I think that would be a great refresh when it does occur. Um, but and then you can potentially look to use some of the cards from Trial by Frost, some of the cards from Whispers from the Maze that have never really seen much light, because there were better cards available from Beyond the Gates.
yeah,
My view is, would you not just ban the uniques? Because ultimately, that's where I really want to see the game shift. But this is my personal opinion, as we're seeing Kojo get the win here. Is is there a way of getting, removing the unique, so you see other uniques and other archetypes shine? Because the uniques in Beyond the Gates are so much stronger on on the regular than some of the others.
true. And then one real quick thing about that game, it looked like Belinda Wave forgot that the characters were tough there by playing that
Yeah.
ban and,
Hmm.
was not able to target any of them. Either way,
And
yeah,
and double tough as well with both
yeah,
the
otherwise they would have been able to hit, at least one of the characters, but, double tough, unfortunately. Um Yeah, I mean, I do think they will rotate the heroes at some point, John Perry. But when that happens, that's what we're kind of speculating at the moment. Yeah, I mean, uniques are always going to be an oddity, right? Specific to altered, where they could do something separate. But I, I honestly genuinely think if you're gonna do some type of rotation, get things out, you may as well do the whole set. If they wanted to kinda, like, slow burn it, sure, they could say no more uniques from Trial or not Trial by Frost, but Beyond the Gates, and still let you play regular cards, but I'd almost prefer they just pull the Band-Aid off and, let it all happen at once.
Yeah, and look, there's no problem doing that. I do. Uh,
Do we lose Chili, guys? I think we lost Chili. We'll give him a second here. In the meantime, I want to thank everyone that has joined us thus far. We are watching the AWOL season 4 Monday Weekly number 5. We are just like about done with round 2 here. I think we just have one game left that we can jump into here, which will be table 2. And we'll pull that up. And not surprised that it's still going on because it's an engine deck, that's right, we had a goal ring here, up against, Basira. Basira, though, does have a good amount of stats on the board here on that companion zone, so the question is the goal ring able to pull something out here for the 3 mana that they have left? Not sure. We do have the Occlute in play, a unique wingsuit jumper, that you may rush if you do draw a card, and when another character joins your expeditions, if I'm not fleeting, target character gains 2 boosts. Oh, nice. Nice wingsuit jumper. Um, Conscription, though, is gonna burn a lot there, get a lot of stats on the board, and that should be enough to not only to block exactly, so they will double block here, no one will move, and this could just become a thing of time as well.
Okay, sorry
Chili's
about
back.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I had a call because I forgot to put do not disturb on,
yeah,
and apologies for that.
no
So
worries.
it is
Figure
now off.
something figure something
Yeah,
came up. We jumped into table 2 since it's the last game left. It's,
yeah, and
yeah.
it's ridiculous. This must be a hostage deck of some kind,
It's just
or it's just
it's just Gold with
go
Gold
go.
and yeah, Gold Engine deck, they managed to get the cards that they needed at this point, and, they've drawn enough, and they were behind, I'm sure, the entire time,
Oh,
and
absolutely, Erratic just absolutely destroying what's available right now.
see, did have they had to deal with a hunger yet? They have not, okay.
Which is really surprising given there's no landmarks out for this build.
Yeah, they may I mean, have they had a Mescatet get hit? No Mescatets yet either, so that's interesting as well.
Hmm. So
And
what one while we're going through, what I was saying is I would love it if you can rotate all the cards but the heroes, just so
mhm,
to allow every hero to have a chance to shine. I know I'm a big proponent of the way that Flesh and Blood does their system for rotating heroes out. You get points. But what Nick and I were talking about on our cast the other day, sorry, on our podcast,
mhm.
was maybe there's an opportunity to say, every year you rotate, you bring in 6 new heroes or whatever it is, new heroes, then you rotate out the top heroes, the equivalent. So you keep that balance of either 18 or 24 heroes being in the rotation for each year. But that sounds like it'd be fun, but because like otherwise Lindale will never get that shine. Some of the other characters, of course, may not get that shine either, or that time to shine.
Yeah, for sure. No, I mean, I like the system in general, like, I think it's a fair it's a common one, like you mentioned, you said as far as, like, Flesh and Blood system, there, and I feel like it happens in not just, like, in TCGs, but in other things too, where they want to bring in something new, right? And you can definitely bring in something new, and just to, like, show it off, and it's gonna be part of the rotation, right, obviously, but
Uh-huh.
it still leaves you the opportunity to bring back other heroes that, you thought maybe gone forever kinda thing, right? And
Yeah.
having that consistent rotation, if it makes sense for that current meta or whoever they think would be ideal for that setup, and you see that a lot, um, in a variety of different things, and I think that could be a cool thing, especially if they are gonna keep up with the idea of, producing heroes more often, than what we saw in the first year, right? So that way we see more and more new heroes, we may as well see more and more rotations on the heroes. Bringing some of the old ones back in, new ones obviously still go in to test them out and go from there, but we do hit the time limit
Oh,
on that one, unfortunately. It's the
look at
problem
that.
with
With
those
only
decks.
and 10-second differential, so Erratic gets the win. I do think Erratic was closer to actually winning as well. From that perspective, we had a lot of people watching that last game.
Yeah, everyone it's always a thing, and people jump in there and wait for the the last game to end. I wanna thank everyone that has joined us thus far. That's the end of round 2 of the AWOL Season 4 Monday Weekly number 5. We're gonna jump right into, the next round here as far as, uh, round 3, and we'll see what we have going here as far as different games. Try to find someone that we have not seen quite yet. You know what? Let's scroll down a little bit and give some of the other tables some limelight here. How about table 31? They're starting up.
Okay, table 31, no problem. And just an update on the table itself, we have got 26 players that are undefeated after 2 rounds. That makes sense given there's 104 people that have joined us today. So that will dwindle down as we continue. Now, this AWOL, how many rounds have we got for it?
Always the good old fashioned six.
No, good old fashioned. Sometimes it's 5 and sometimes it's 7. So that's why I ask.
When is it 5 or 7? You crazy?
The Americas one. And
No,
I think
it's always
it's always been
six.
okay. Even the
Yeah.
Americas one.
Yes.
You know what? I'm probably thinking about any time that Pandy Andy does a stream.
Yeah.
It's pot-like because he just sometimes forgets to see how many rounds he's put in.
We if anything, AWOL is always consistent no matter what. It's gonna be the 6 and then never change the cap either. Always same cap, always same 6. I think we tried, larger cap and, 7 rounds at one point on, in season 1 and didn't like it, so we just decided to stay consistent. But I'm gonna switch over to the gameplay real quick so everyone can watch. And we do have a Finn versus a Sigismar set up here.
Yeah, I this is good. I have always loved Fen and Crowbar. I'm not smart enough to play Fen and Crowbar. I am very much Sigisma, pretty simple to play. And both cards here are going to suffer from drawing unless they've got cards that will give them draw. And the longer the game goes, the more Sigisma has a chance of winning, especially if you can keep that card draw very low or the resupply very low. But I have missed the Fen and Crowbar
Hmm, or free supply.
festival build, right?
Yeah, yeah, I mean, you did say the longer the game goes as far as Sigismar is concerned. I was gonna say that I felt like the Sigismar actually had to play faster,
Oh, okay.
for this, in particular, because Finn's always been the type of, setup type of hero where if they can get to late game, if they're not too far behind, they just have more resources than their opponent, and it really doesn't matter how much they draw, unless they have a unique that draws off of every character hitting the board, the Finn's always going to outdo you as far as resources are concerned, and
Yeah.
just be able to constantly recycle, constantly play whatever they want. And so, typically, when I play against a Finn, and especially if I'm something that can grow aggro like a Sigismar, I'm gonna wanna beat it early, get those advances early, get ahead on the tumult, and then if I can go 1 for 1 or occasionally get that double advance as fast as possible, then I'm gonna take it, which is exactly what we see here from the top
Mhm.
Sigismar, able to go 2-1, at least get 1 spot open here, and then put themselves in a position to not let that Finn get too far ahead as far as, like, mana is concerned.
Yeah, what I usually say is this is the way I approach playing Fen as Sigismar is if I can go 2 and 1 early, that's fantastic. But I also look to make sure that I can do stuff to disrupt their gameplay so that they don't have the amount of cards they have in hand. Because Fen and Crowbar at late game, of course, they can only draw one. They can never draw two. And I think if you can stop that cycling, that's really good. Right now, it's not looking good for Sigismar, given that Fen has a 2 card advantage in hand. And that's really where I'm going. You either go really fast, or you find a way to disrupt their ability of having cards in hand.
Yeah,
But in many times, most of the Fen and Crowbar builds, at least the more advanced ones, end up having at least one of the Amalis in play. So
yeah,
whenever they see 3 or 4 cards in reserve, they'll play it and then they redraw back up everything again and recycle that way. On
yeah.
top of the loops that we saw already with the Oribus Inkcaster.
Yeah, exactly. So it'll be just dependent, and I think what you're saying is correct. Like occasionally, you can find a way to disrupt. The reason why I didn't necessarily apply it to Sigismar at the moment, and you could definitely run it a different way, is that it feels like a lot of Sigismar players and a lot of deck lists from Sigismar are opting to go the opposite way of disruption from the form of like sabotage in
Yep.
particular, getting away from the spies, getting away from the legats and focusing more on tempo on board and just being able to advance quickly, and advance when you need to using the ascended ability, right? I mean, Sigismar has always been the type of hero where another hero is supposed to get some type of buff, but guess what? Sigismar plays it better, you know?
Yeah.
And so that seems like it feels like that's the direction a lot of Sigismar players are going now, figuring out that Legat used to be really good, for Sigismar, but they're finding that even in a common slot, there's other cards you'd rather play, like that Gargoyle, for example, or something like.
That's funny. Look, I'm looking at the comments as well. Cole Ravi, who was meant to be on cast today but decided to call in sick, is still on there. Like he can't get enough, right?
Yeah, he's not actually sick, he's just enjoying, ramen and hanging out in bed.
My question is he playing?
No, he's not playing. I know that for sure. I didn't see him
Okay.
on there. I did have to refresh. Did look like everything was frozen on my end, so we get to see the very end of that day there. Sigismar able to get a 1-0 after being able to play Jack Frost, some Criers, and other abilities stacking up over on that hero side,
Mhm.
and then, getting the advance over on the companion side, actually. So doing what they can here to keep the advantage. Only need 3 more advances in order to take this game. I think it'll be pretty crucial for them in order to, get at least 1 advance here on this next day and set themselves up for any type of double advance to, win the game before they start running out of cards like you mentioned before.
Yeah, very interesting. If you were talking, you did have that talk with Rinku. Rinku basically looks at a Jack Frost and say, "Why would you play that instead of the rare duck?" Right?
Right.
I
Yeah.
I still play Jack Frost. I've got rare ducks as well, so maybe I'm playing it wrong, and probably am if I'm not the world. Right.
Yeah. I mean, Jack Frost is obviously still good. At that point, it does just depend on how you wanna play and, just the priorities you have as a player. Not everyone has the same uniques, for example, right? And, not everyone likes to play the same way, overall, so if you can find different options for that, why not go for it? Jack Frost definitely not a bad card. See it a lot more. It's another situation of, you know what, Ortis is like, "You know what? I'll go ahead and take this card. It feels better for me than it does
In
for
meta.
Muna," for example. We do see a unique Cernanos come and hit the board 3 from hand, 4 from reserve, 3/2/3 in stats, and draw a card. Just a solid,
Yeah, not
statted
bad.
character for just drawing from anywhere.
Hmm. Not bad at all. A little bit more expensive from when it's played from reserve, but to get any draw or very little reduction in your cards, it's not too bad at all. Oh, interesting here. Uh-oh. Oh no. What are we gonna see? A rough
Yeah,
play though for Lucy Sleepy?
I don't know, I was just to say Lucy Copy, but I don't know.
Okay, Lucy copy, that will do.
I was gonna say that,
Oh, rough.
yeah, with, 2 mana, there's a lot that a Sigismar can do, and removal is definitely one of them. And the good thing there is that does technically add a cost reduction here, and does let you return that magical training, but it does not look like they had anything to be able to play for 2 cost, and they will get hit with a
Oof.
double advance here from the Sigismar player, who is looking quite good at the moment,
Looking
despite only having
great.
2 cards in hand. They could essentially just give up the following day to set up on resources if they want. I
Mhm.
doubt that's gonna be the play, but we'll go ahead and see if they can, pull out just a singular advance here with potentially only 3 cards, maybe 4 cards if they decide not to mana, but they do decide to mana here.
Yeah, looking at it here, I think Lucy copy is more than likely going to 2-0, purely because they've got a 2 cost reduction available to them as well. Oh, unique Baba Yaga coming out. If you have less than 8 mana, draw 1 card. They get to draw another card, so now they've got plenty more to play for.
Yeah, Baba Yaga unique's definitely been a popular card to add in your Sigismar decks, especially if they can have a decent ability like you see there. Always fun when they get to add the flavor text to the uniques, because they have the availability too. We do get to see that Ortis Spy hit the board though, not a card that gets played a lot, in
Hmm.
Sigismar anymore. I'm usually pretty happy to see it because it just doesn't feel as good for 3 costs, but, doing some work here as far as targeting that Twinkle Twinkle and preventing, that from being played. We will get to see the Shiva hit the board, and it will get the stats, um, because, it didn't, discard a permanent.
Oh man, what are they going to do? They still got the access to 2 cards. They okay. Choosing to give up on the day. I'm surprised with the amount of cards in hand they weren't able to play 5 costs to cover the difference.
Yeah, it seemed like they just didn't have what they needed,
Yep.
and, if they wanted to move forward in the round, more power to them. Sigmar able to take that one, able to out aggro the Finn, only getting up to, 7 mana there as far as both players are concerned, not quite hitting that 8 mana day. So probably about as good as it can go for the Sigismar player.
Mhm.
So we'll
There's still
head
a number
on.
of, yep, which table would you like?
Yeah, I'm just gonna head on back here. Give me a second. All right. Again, want to thank everyone that has joined us thus far for the Altered Weekly Online League, Monday Weekly number 5. Again, I am Blue OTB on all other socials. Joined today by Chili. Chili can promo some stuff real quick before we join another game.
Yeah, just come listen to us on a Hero's Guide to Asgartha podcast. That is when Nick and I get a chance to just chat about the game we love.
Indeed. So, like you mentioned, a lot of games still to be played here. Let's see what we got going on that we can watch. Let's scroll down a little bit, see who we can watch. I don't know. Table 39, John and Saya. Why not?
Is it almost like John Cena here,
Yeah.
or
John Cena,
oh, see ya.
but John Saya instead.
There you go. Hey, while we're moving into here, a question that I've got for you is, what's some insight you learned from the interviews you've just recently done of the champion? And I do believe you are you have you released the one for second place or not yet,
With Vittorio?
Victoria?
No, no, I haven't released anything there yet. I mean, just in general, I mean, I've talked to Vittorio before as well. Vittorio was actually one of the first people that I interviewed when I started doing Top Cut talks. That was from the 1,000 player Angers tournament way back when, and he was playing Sigismar at the time during Waru days, and actually was running a one of a Kraken, was able to top 16 that event. So that was
Nice.
interesting. So always remembered him from that, and obviously big Trace player since then. Real quick, we do have a Cowrie versus a Tasia player, both of them running the colorful Cuckoo. Tasia opting for the common and the Cowrie playing with the rare version there. But yeah, I mean, obviously, it's like you talked to Rinku as well,
Hmm.
and you can't stop Rinku from talking, so I'm sure he named a he didn't say the exact same things to both of us, but I'm sure it's a lot of similar things. Yeah, it's just always interesting to hear the different things in there. The amount of just support for everyone at the event, I think, is the coolest thing. Past just like gameplay, uh, as far as that's concerned, just the fact that for example, I know he mentioned that just getting support from players, like when the Altered Aces lost their last player in the top cut and saying that, like, they were supporting him to win. That's really cool, and then just, different people, reaching out and just congratulating folks, and, the idea I guess I'm getting across is just the overall community is really great, and, it seems like, that event and it wasn't just a world championship kinda thing, it was really like they intended a celebration of the community, the game, and everyone involved, and getting to see a lot of that seems like it was, really cool, and I'm happy, for that to be the case in general, as far as just
Yeah.
these interviews are concerned.
The one thing that I saw from Rinku in both your video, and great work on the questions that you guys asked and how you went through it, is just the mind that he has that is so analytical. Like, talk about lines in a way that we normally don't.
Yeah.
Um, but then on the other side, there was when I don't know if you've had a chance to listen to Quetz as he talked to Vittorio. I didn't know how funny Vittorio is. He's hilarious. I
Yeah,
love that he
he's a
calls himself
he
vice champion.
yeah, he's a giggly guy in general,
Yeah.
he's fun, but yeah. It's, like I said, great community overall, a lot of people that's always been my biggest thing, like I said, like, doing these interviews since, like, the start of these bigger tournaments, I've never had anyone just straight up tell me no. You know, a lot of people, they're like, "Hey, I don't know, my English isn't great," and I'm like, "Honestly, your English is about 500 times better than me trying to speak your main language, and people
Yeah.
are gonna be able to understand you fine." You know what, and we'll plan ahead of time, we'll make sure that you feel comfortable, all that good stuff, and that's been, like, the biggest thing for me is that I could reach out to literally anyone, cold message them, and they're like, "Yeah, for sure, just, let me know when," and I'm like, "You let me know when, because we're about 9 hours separated, and I'm not gonna ask you to get up at 3 AM," you know? So
Yeah.
but that's been the biggest hurdle is, time zones, but always able to make it work in some capacity, as we see a double Yeti
Double Yeti, dude.
for the
I
Cowrie.
I I'm really liking this build for Kauri. The Yetis that are there, like you use the Yetis alongside the colorful Cuckoos, you're going to get so much benefit out of everything that's been played. Of course, the only thing with the Yeti is it does cost 3 and then 4 from reserve, but really, really good play. If you're playing someone that is playing slow, I
Yeah.
think this is
Yeah.
going to be very good.
Yeah, I think,
And
one of the biggest things that I was interested in when I saw, the Skybound Odyssey cards is the potential to see players utilize the production of tokens, not just for your opponent, but for yourself. Like, I know there's the card Counting Sheep, for example, that's able to produce the, tokens on any expedition, and then it makes everything go asleep. But just the idea of being able to produce those, and I know there's a lot of these good unique cards within the Muna factions that essentially do what Bravos does, where a character joins and you can give a character 2 boosts, and seeing people potentially abuse that, similar to Bravos, I went straight to Bravos mind, when looking at the, Muna setup, and just to see people potentially play Muna in a different way. But at the moment, the Cowrie doing Cowrie things, being able to use the Woolly back field, and give them a character on their side, but still able to play things like Pan to sabotage and take out that snoozer shroom.
nice, getting the benefit. The one thing I would have just on the turn before, if I was Tasia and they had a chance to basically remove one of the cards through their what was it? They had the mana eruption.
Mhm,
I would have gone for one of the Yetis, the sleeping Yeti, because everything else had fleeting. So
mhm.
you could have potentially got rid of everything. And now what you're seeing here is both Yetis are going to be in play the next day,
Yeah,
which is going to be rough.
yeah. And we will
Wow,
see
somehow.
yeah, we also with that Muna Signet play, we will be able to see a 1 for 1 here.
Some I don't know how that came about. Well played by John. I don't know if John is a newer player or he is um, basically testing so much that his elo goes down. But really, really smart play. I'd like to
Yeah.
give Kohlrabi that excuse, but no, he's just not doesn't perform in the big games.
Just,
No offense, buddy.
always testing something that's
Yeah,
probably
he is.
wrong.
He's always testing something. It's usually within the Muna or the Lyra faction, um, but that's cool. I think Cowrie is up there now. Like now, Muna has two viable characters to play.
I think it's a possibility. I think, I don't know if anyone's quite mastered it yet, but we've seen a few players do quite well, with Cowrie. Not perfect, but, to the point of where everyone's following suit and trying to do the exact same thing. But they've, figured out a few different things. I think the problem with a lot of the Muna heroes is similar to what we see in Sigismar, whereas with Tasia, you whatever you can do in other heroes, you can do with Tasia, but
Mhm.
easier, right? And it just makes it difficult not to want to play Tasia to some extent, right? But yeah, like you mentioned, you can play other cards within Cowrie that you're probably not playing with Tasia. The Woolly Field is definitely one of them. Um, we do get to see just the from reserve play of the pan, so it's not gonna activate any abilities, but, still get some boosts thanks to the Yetis that were both on the field. And speaking of some sleeping characters, we do get the Drowsy Dodo hitting the board.
These two resources for 5/5/4, thanks to the two Yetis, is insane.
Yeah, and that's gonna prevent the Tasia from wanting to play over there at all, because they know as soon as they do, they can decide to just awaken that Drowsy Dodo. So we will see the So hit the board, and it is the rare version here that allows for the Anchor ability off of the support play. So an interesting inclusion here as far as a rare card within a Tasia deck, not something that I'm used to seeing as far as the So.
Yeah, not bad at all.
Um,
Oh,
there's that Counting Sheep that I was mentioning, and I imagine two of them are going to go on their own side, and then one over to your opponent. Um, Oh, it's a common version, so it just does the 2. But, yeah, and then everything goes to sleep that's a 1 cost. So, fun card.
It is fantastic. I got destroyed by that card a couple of times when I was playing in my final on the weekend. I was Sigismar against Cowrie, and
Mhm.
once I see that, I'm like, well, that's my gameplay.
Definitely, and
Good
we do
games
see
all around.
we do see the Kodama being played from reserve, kinda surprised. I thought we may see at least we might see both of them used for anchoring, but instead prioritizing the stats that they bring for 2 costs. We do see a unique floor hitting the board here. From hand, if you control 3 or more characters, up to 1 target character with hand cost 3 or less, other than me, gains anchored, and it's gonna hit that Yeti once again. A bunch of
Yeah,
slept characters. So as long as the Cowrie can at least get 1 advance or even just prevent the Tasia from advancing here, they're gonna be looking like they're in a pretty good spot for the following day.
yeah. Well, it is going to be a one for one right now. Um, he's. I'm surprised though that they didn't use the Woolly Woolly field benefit. And here you might as well anchor both your cards. You're gonna have your more. Yep. Okay. So both going to be starting with a lot of power on the next day, but Kauri really, really looking good.
Yeah, especially with at least 1 of the Yetis still on the board. Ooh, we do get a
Oh,
Saptuende play, though.
yes, yes. That Duende. Love it. Nice.
Not quite enough to get the double advance, but, enough to prevent the advance for the Cowrie, which I'm sure is not ideal for the Cowrie, but, at least helps them out here. Uh, as far as, their I'd almost be curious to see, instead of preventing the advance, if they would've prioritized putting the stats
That's
on the slept, Woolly back to have more going into this following day, but, instead prioritizing the advance or blocking the advance rather,
yeah.
forcing the Cowrie to be have to double advance here in order to win the game rather than just
hmm
single advance.
The worry I have with putting any boosts on any of the Woolly backs is there's the potential that that card could then be taken back into Kauri's control,
Yeah.
right? But then if you add it to the aloe vera, there's the chance that they could lose all the stats through one removal. So
Mm.
hard decision to make.
Yeah. I'd be, I mean, how often have you seen, like, the bait play coming out
I,
of,
I,
Cowries?
I, not so much competitively, but locally, I'm seeing it.
Mm,
But the fate doesn't cost that much, so it's a fun inclusion.
yeah.
Just to the common to get one, you can imagine getting your Kojo, getting the Halua. Halua is the one that you have to look for if you can get it. Like
Mhm.
but it's not right now meta. But the Kojo definitely, especially as you're seeing some Kojo builds still continue to use what's the +3 boost card it has? Draw a card.
Physical training?
Physical training. Thank you.
Yeah.
So with physical training being there to be able to remove 5 resources, transfer them to yours. Once again, very very tough right now for both players.
Yeah, a lot of stat stacking here for the Tasia player on the companion side, just needing to get 1 more advance in order to take this game. Only has 3 mana though, and Cowrie does have 6 left. It'll be interesting to
hmm
see if they are able to pull out enough here to at least block that companion side, if not able to get the double advance, especially with 2 of the Yetis available to them on that companion zone. They just have to produce characters, and they could potentially put themselves in a good spot. A one cost unique is a good start even without the abilities because that's still a 4/4/2 in stats.
hmm Yeah, it looks like John is going to get the win. Um, Nice little slow play here to allow to see what happens. Only 2 cards in hand for Kauri. They have been playing very low to the ground, so I do expect both cards to be able to be played. Haven't seen anything that is large at all. Lunari was a 4 cost, so maybe they may have a couple more 4 costs, and that maybe only one of them can be played. But we'll see.
Ooh, Pasiphae play.
Oh, Pasiphae, lovely.
I was wondering if that's what we'd see, especially after the Woolly field, getting played, and sure enough, it was. And we get the immediate
Mm,
pass from Tasia, nothing they can do to compete with that. and
Yeah,
we get the
rough.
come from behind victory here from Cowrie, doing a lot of setup and giving them just what they needed there in order to take the victory over the Tasia.
Yeah, and the carry feels like it belongs also in Lero, being one of the more difficult play styles to master.
Mhm.
Good on them. That's great to see.
Indeed, and once again, I wanna thank everyone that has joined us thus far. You are dead center in the 3rd round of the AWOL Season 4, Monday Weekly number 5. I think we only have a few games left here in this round 3, then we'll progress on to round 4. Let's see what do we got
Fantastic. And
here.
yeah, and I'll join you till the end of round 4, and then I've got to hit the
Yeah,
back
for
to
sure.
the office.
Yeah, definitely. Alright, so we'll, jump into the very end of these round 3s here. Let's head to table 23 and see if we can catch the end of that.
No problem. Big heel against Aislinn 94. French guys or French people.
Yep, and it looks like we got a Traced versus a Itzadi.
Is this your first race for the day?
No, we started off with a Trace
Okay.
in round 1, and, it's interesting with Trace 'cause not a lot of new cards. We do get to see the restocking station on occasion, but, Trace just acting like, Trace pretty much and, don't really need to change much, to be honest.
Restocking station is probably the main card that's currently used from the new set.
Yeah.
Um, Now that's the other thing that I was surprised in Riku's interview, saying he went Trace without ever actually playing Trace before the yet still managed to win all the mirrors he lost, right?
Yeah, I mean, he didn't play it much. He still played it. He just didn't play it as much, I don't think.
Yeah. Well,
But
what he said on I think it was in yours. He goes on your interview. I only played it 3 times before,
mhm.
but you would have played against it so much. But it's not the same as playing it and seeing the cards, making the choices rather than seeing someone else make the decision.
Ooh, hunger play.
That's a fantastic card for them to do. Even if they don't manage to progress at all, they have removed everything. And it looks like we are going to see a progression
Yeah,
with the single card in hand with 5 resources.
yeah.
Doom can't be played because he doesn't have anything to remove. What removal does he have access to that won't cost, that doesn't require a sacrifice? I don't think there is one.
Technically he could sap overflow, but I don't know many sap overflows.
Tap Overflow and Sticky Note Seals, I think, is the other one that could be used.
Yeah, if I saw any
If
Axiom person using a sticky note CLs, I would be baffled and I would be extremely upset as the other player. Like,
yeah,
no,
never
you didn't.
experienced. Yeah,
But
but it is a useful card. Like honestly, like it doesn't cost you that much, and to be able to play it out against a hunger, it's so
yeah, but
situational. This game
yeah,
is not very
yeah,
situational. You got
yeah.
to play the field.
Yeah, to meta place a sticky note seal for a rare just to play against the hunger, I would bravo if you decided to do that, but,
That's ballsy, right? Ballsy.
yeah, we do get to see the victory there for the Inzadi player. We'll head on back. But yeah, I know. I think, like you mentioned with Rinku, as far as the trace is concerned, he said he felt comfortable enough after day 2 or 3. He said it was just those initial days and
Yeah.
setting things up correctly where his problem, as far as like knowing when to play certain things, well, basically when he didn't have the hero ability for Trace. Because for me, like the hero ability for Trace leaves you a lot more room to potentially misplay if you want to,
Mm-hmm.
because you just have so
Absolutely.
many resources, and it's just so good to play from reserve regardless of the situation, right? But, yeah, I think a lot of players at that level obviously just have a generic sense of how things need to be played. They may not have the most ideal lines in comparison to people that have played it constantly the same way. Those players
Mm-hmm.
won't have the same ideal lines that, for example, Rinku might have, for Kojo. But that's just the nature of having those different decks available for the conquest format, which made it so
Yeah.
interesting and why we got to see so many like 2-1s and very rarely got to see the straight
Sure.
victories of no one getting any type of deck win, right? But
Yeah. I
oh,
got sold. I got sold in the fact that I loved the format.
yeah,
I was not, and you heard me talk many times on like I'm not sure this is going to be the best thing, but it
mhm,
was fantastic.
yeah. I've always been
It
a
was
big fan of the
fantastic.
format, seeing it work in things like Hearthstone, for example, has always been really fun for me. So, I was excited that, Altered decided to try it out for Worlds. Either way, we're done with round 3. Round 4, your last round for the time being before you have to start making more money and, pay the insurance bills for your nanny. Um,
Yeah, you know what's crazy is that probably the cost of it is going to be more than her, or maybe about half her annual salary.
yeah, just from the
Oh my
insurance.
goodness.
Yeah, yeah, trust me, I get it.
I gotta
Um
laugh, or otherwise I'll cry.
Exactly. But yeah, round 4, got some games. Since it's your last one, I'll let you decide where
Yeah,
we're going.
you know what? Two players I've not seen, but I'm interested to see Razor Luck against Wonder Raccoon on table 7. One of the Altered Aces players.
Okay.
So table 7 to me means they're both undefeated going into this round. So it'd be good to see what we're looking at here. It is a Kojo mirror. So as we're looking at it, what do they do that's different to one another? Wonder Raccoon dialing in from Canada. Welcome for the Americas player against the old continent French player Razor Luck from AA Altered Aces.
Indeed, and we did get a 2 for 1 on that first day there.
Hmm.
Not the most surprising thing. I feel like it isn't always impossible to get a 2 for 2 on occasion on these Bravos matchups. So we'll see how Razorlick's able to take advantage of that initial lead. Does have to deal with the fact that their opponent and Wonder Raccoon will have the Buddha turn as well as set themselves up potentially with a Haven Serengar play, and we get a resupply into a Veilmon. That is not a
Palamon,
card.
my goodness. Not what you want this early.
Yeah, but not a card I'm also very used to seeing either. But maybe there's a play for it. Either way, we'll see how that turns out. Instead, we'll just see the Tengu response from Razorlick on the top there, and yeah, I have to imagine we'll be seeing the Serengar here coming out from Raccoon, unless they have something else they want to play. Maybe the Tiny Gen.
Yeah, what would you play? I always prefer, in given you only have one card in hand, I'd go for the card draw.
Mhm.
Um, but the question is, where do you want to play it?
I mean
Um,
I mean, at this point, they're deciding to play it on the hero side. I wouldn't have been surprised, though, to see them play it on the companion side to set themselves up for that tiny Jin play, in the
yeah,
future, which wouldn't have been a bad idea here, but instead they prioritize the safe setup here of knowing that they can hit the stats needed on one of the 3 there, which either way, I feel like it almost would have been better to go for companion. Either way,
yeah.
they're gonna be fine with what they got. They could still use that tiny gen as a blocker over on that companion zone if they so choose, especially since it will be getting 2 boosts and it will be able to block out the initial Buddha there for the Kojo player once Razorlick is first player. But yeah, it's just one of those things you always got to be paying attention to the board,
Mhm.
the terrains that you're running into, and not just that, but once we know that we see these 2 initial terrains s shown up as far as the 2 cards, we know what's in the center. We just gotta figure out which way it's oriented and then how you can potentially plan for that as well. That's what we see a lot and what I hear so much from, like, really good players that, I've interviewed and, that you've interviewed in Rinku, whereas they're always planning ahead of not just the next day, but the next 3 or 4 days and how they can plan around the tumult and how they can get ahead and how they can just take advantage of every minute type of thing.
That's really interesting. I really love what you said. And P.S. I'm going to steal that as part of my next podcast that I do in terms of looking ahead, thinking
Mhm.
about what you did. Because my mind was, I would have played it onto whichever card you end up playing it onto the companion side to basically force a 1 for 1.
Mm.
Whereas because he played it on the hero side, there's a chance that he could have been 2 for 1 if Razor Luck had any card that had 2 costs available of two stats. So um, but anyway, good. I really like that insight. Look, Blue, you could be up there on the top 32 in the world. What's going on?
I mean, I don't cast just because I like casting. I mean, those who can't do cast, right? Um, no, just I mean, I know how to play the game. I can do quite well. I'm still, 500 with against Robbie, all of the marbles that everyone loves. Um, because he's been playing over at our locals before. I'll take that to my grave. In fact, I'm probably just never gonna play him again, so I don't go negative.
Oh, that's
But
funny.
yeah, I mean, still know an occasional thing, and if you watch enough games, right, you start
Mm,
figuring stuff out at some point, between playing and actually everything else
yeah.
going on. We do see that physical training pop up here for the top, Kojo player here, gonna get a card draw out of it and put themselves in a nice spot on the companion zone. We'll see how the
Mhm,
bottom, Kojo's able to respond. The Tiny Jin over on the, companion side, not looking as hot right now. They could do it and just tie, but then they'd probably be giving up that 1-0 coming from the hero
mm.
side, because I don't
No,
think they'll have anything for 1 mana.
they can easily it will look like a one for one, if they put their,
Mhm.
they've gotta put the tiny gin into the companion side because that's giving it
Right.
3 boosts.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, not in the companion, in the hero side.
Yeah.
Um,
I gotcha.
but, it's 2 different styles of gameplay. Remember, if they were playing Cowrie, that's a great target, the 555. Just saying that again, reinforcing an idea that many people don't do, but it's probably because it's a bad idea. Oh, choosing not? Interesting. Why would you not play out your Tiny Gin?
It's holding it for some reason. I'm not quite sure here. They did
Yeah,
look out a little bit there that the middle card goes into the water mountain terrain. So there is
yeah.
some possibility of doing a little blocking there, but it doesn't really help them on that companion zone, at least for their own advancement
Mhm,
opportunities. And essentially on neither at this point because they are on individual water and they knew that going in. So yeah,
mhm,
it is really curious, as you mentioned, why they decided not to do that. Maybe there's something in hand that they're thinking about, but it felt like that they probably should have just played that tiny Jin and get the mana advantage as well as keeping that tracer from reserve, which is usually a pretty good play, especially once it resupplies into it from a haven.
mhm. Yeah, fantastic. Got 2 additional boosts, but, you know, Wonder Raccoon has a reason why they're doing what they're doing, and it allows us to see how they play. Um, it's also much easier to be the co-pilot than the actual pilot, right?
Yeah, it's true. But I don't have a problem judging.
Oh, man. Jeez Louise. Talking about Robbie, though, so this is all of the Marvels.
Mhm,
No, how has he come back? Have you heard from him in terms of his feeling on Worlds, given he didn't make day 2?
mhm.
But did he feel he performed well? Did he enjoy it? Have you spoken to him at all?
I haven't spoken to him recently. Obviously, I had some other stuff going on initially afterwards.
Obviously.
But no, I haven't spoken to him recently. I'll have to check in to see how he's doing. He's always been, if anyone doesn't know it, he obviously he plays really well. He's a good structured player, but he's always been more of a fan of the limited format of whatever he plays. I could get him
Oh,
to travel 3 or 4 hours just to play a draft if I wanted to. He just
how do I get him to come to Salt Lake City so he can play a draft with me?
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna go that far, but I know I could at least get him, for around 3 hours, from spots within California. But, oh, we got to see a mana channeling, don't get to see that very often
Nice.
in
Someone
Kojo.
Manichelling?
But yeah, no, he's a big fan of, Limited as a whole. He likes, Draft in particular. He hasn't, done a lot of updates recently, but he used to, do, recaps of all his draft and sealed events, on his website, lyricchronicler.com, and he kinda gives a lot of it.
Oh,
Yeah, he gives a lot of insight on why cards he picks, what uniques he sometimes plays in structured, and just a lot of different explanations on different things. So if you're ever curious about like different things that he thinks about the game, it's a good spot to take a look at. There's a backlog of a lot of things, especially since he doesn't do interviews. I've tried to get him to so many times, but he just doesn't
oh,
do
really?
it. But
Okay.
yeah.
I
So
wonder
yeah,
if
if you
I'll have any luck.
you
Probably
could try
not.
you could try
You're his
you could
you're
try,
his
but
local.
But
He's
I
going to
but
have it.
I've bugged him in person so many times, and I've offered so many things, and I got close one time, and then he's like, "Ah, never mind." But yeah,
Uh,
if you're interested in insight from his perspective, that's a great place to see it,
yeah,
lyric
I definitely am. Like,
lyricchronicler.com.
'cause, like, if you talk to most of the American players anyway, they
Mhm.
always talked about him in such respect,
Yeah.
not only in terms of the card, the uniques he has, but they're really respectful for what he thinks and how he's playing. So there's an element where, if lots of people that I respect in the game are saying this, then I should also understand why.
Yeah, for sure.
But we got a first unique to come out, the Ozma. If you control one or more landmarks, draw a card, and a dust, draw a card. That is a great Ozma. But the first ability is only from reserve. So
Yeah. Needs an arrow, come on.
yeah, needs an act. If we're talking to Trickster, he'd be like, "That's a sub card. I'll never play it." But uh, good on Trickster. I kind of felt a little bad with Trickster that he won his qualifier with a Chili Cocoba,
Mhm.
but
That's what I was
but
gonna
in
ask
that
you,
yeah.
what went into deciding which player was gonna get that
So
Kokoba?
in Dallas, and given like Rinko's part of my team, we
Yeah,
we spoke about it, and I said, Rinku, like, you're a member of my team. All my cards are your disposal.
right.
And then, like, if there's anything he doesn't want, you're welcome to access to those, Trickster.
Yeah.
And the one card he wanted,
Chili Kokoba.
he couldn't, he didn't want to let go of it. And that, it didn't get much play because he was banned five of the 7 rounds, right? But
Yeah, that was just Sigismar in general. I
yeah,
I did the same thing with, all the marbles, Robbie. I gave him one of my, uniques that draws and it is a token generator for 2 cost.
ooh,
And
nice.
he's like, "Yeah, I got banned out, from Sigismar the entire time, so I didn't get to play it, but I got to play, my Navenka at the very least," and, he's like,
His
I was
is awesome.
"I was happy about that," and I was like, "See? Perfect. You're welcome."
Yeah. So, like, yeah, so that's really where it came. And you should have seen, like, Trickster was asking a number of times. I said, look, I can't go back on a word. Like, that's the other part. He goes, look, I just won a qualifier with it. I think could I get it? And I'm like, I can't fall back on that. Like,
Yeah.
and I felt really bad because, like, you never really expect that multiple people would be vying for the chance to use one of your cards, right?
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, we had myself and Nick had the chance to room with both Rinku and with Trickster in Dallas. So
Right. Yeah.
both the guys representing the states. That was really cool.
Yep. Very cool. Trickster ended up doing, pretty good there in the top 16 as well, so,
Yeah, good on him. And like, if you talking to Riku, he lost his first round, and then he ended up winning. That's pretty insane. And Vittorio coming from the bottom bracket just all the way through. He played so many games.
yeah. That's true, like, he ended up losing that first round of the top 16 and had to play all the way through. I can't imagine that, that's just so much altered to be
That's
playing
so much.
constantly. At least Rinku
Yeah.
lucked out and, didn't lose at all in the
In the top, yeah,
top 16 bracket, but yeah, to lose in that very first top 16, and I think that happened with a few of the players where they lost in that very first round, and then they played through that bottom losers bracket for almost the entirety of the time, trying to make their way back, and that just must have been a, a mind wipe type of thing.
oh, so hard. Interesting play by Wonder Raccoon to play out the Ozma on the companion side, basically forcing, especially if there's only if they want to use the Priya, forcing the Priya to be played on the same side unless they've got a one cost card.
Mhm.
Um, what are they going to do? Serengeti, so now Priya cannot be played the next day. There is a chance that we might be able to get that one for one that they're looking for. And
Yeah,
that Valamon stayed in reserve forever.
yeah. Holding on to it, trying able to use it for that 10 mana turn, it
I
seems
know.
like.
And 10 minutes, fantastic if you can.
Yeah, I mean, he may not make it that far though. You gotta I thought we might get to see it this turn since it wouldn't finally have Defender, but, I guess not. I mean, essentially though, we still have the equivalent there in the Priya, rare version does have the 5/5/5 in stats for only 4 mana. Really good card as far as the stats are concerned. I've seen players use it in the rare and the common version. Obviously, the stats vary in the common, but still a really good card. Uh, we'll be curious to see what how this top Kojo is able to respond here with 3 mana and still having the lead over in the companion zone as well as the hero side. Because if they can pull out a double advance, that'll be all she wrote.
Oh,
So we'll see what Wonder Raccoon can do in response to the double Guard play.
yeah, they just need one stat though, in Forest to be able to progress. Well, to block. If they
Mhm.
can get two mountain stats, they'll be able. Then sorry, they need three mountain stats to progress.
Mm,
Choosing to
Twinkle
sleep.
Twinkle.
What are they going to sleep? Oh, rough one to sleep though.
Yeah, so Twinkle Twinkle is a card that I've always liked in Bravos. It's just hard
Uh-huh.
to include it a lot of the times. I've often found myself including it more in Saudi decks
Yeah.
because it helps with cost reduction as well as just competing with things that could, if you're playing something really big and your opponent just plays something really small over on the opposite side, just to counter you really quick, you could just sleep it really quick and you don't really care about a small character over on the opposite side on the following day kind of thing too. But,
Mm.
it's fun to see it in, this Kojo deck. I feel like Wonder Raccoon's including a lot of cards that you don't typically see when it comes to the Valamon and the, things like Twinkle Twinkle that, is keeping them in this game essentially, from what we see. I mean, what I think is like the typical meta deck of Kojo that we've been seeing lately from, Razor Luck at this point. But dead even on the tumult. Wonder Raccoon does have the benefit of having two havens out, but Razorlick will have the benefit of having that Buddha still out at 555 because it
Oh
just
man.
got slept. So we will see who can pull it out.
Yeah, like you've got to play your Valamon out, right? You're not going to. There's no chance you're going to be able to win without your Valamon.
Yeah,
I know you're trying to wait for the 10 mana, but there's no chance.
yeah. I mean, and if you weren't going to play it, you wouldn't have gotten rid of the Tengu, right? Like,
Hmm.
you either had a decision to make of you're gonna play a big card in the Valmon, or you were gonna slow play and play that Tengu. Because I think you're keeping the Twinkle Twinkle no matter what to potentially deal with, a big statted card like, a Priya or even that Buddha again, kinda make it useless since this is the final day. But, yeah, honestly, we also may just see a cost reduction on the Valmon too, with Twinkle Twinkle. I don't know what's in hand though. I'll have to see how this one starts out.
Though the Twinkle Twinkle just being there is really a
Yeah,
deterrent.
yeah.
So you can stay there till very last. The only hope you have is that there's no sabotage in Razor Luck's deck. Right now, none have been shown, none have been displayed, but you just never know.
Yeah.
You never know. Oh, Arcolano Milk. Okay, a lot of boosts. It looks like he is going for the one for one.
We also could see the typical 9 mana Arcolano Milk
Mhm.
Hunger play, um,
You could.
which would be
What a waste of the Valamon waiting there 4 rounds, 4 days.
and I think Razorlick has to be conscientious of this as well. So if they have a 1 mana play, now would be the time to do it. Um,
Like, I would play the Sarengar out just purely because even if it goes away, you're
yeah.
going to get the card draw.
No, they decide to go with the
Hmm.
Skater 1 mana play. So, maybe they're tempting a follow-up, Hunger
A
play of
hunger
their
to
own.
hunger?
Yeah. We did see that, at Worlds, didn't we? Or was that somewhere else? I forget. No, that was, at a qualifier. I remember it was a Hunger to Hunger.
That's
Um,
awesome.
so we'll see what, we got going on here.
But
I
the
think
good
this
thing
is
with that is,
yeah.
yeah, okay. Now we're really getting
Hunger
to
is
see if we
still an
can.
yeah, Hunger is still an option, though. They do have the cost reduction.
Hmm. And now they've also got the boost available to them. Oh, look at this. The tension, the tension.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. Both players have a lot of ability here to play different cards. It's just a question of how they want to play it, and the fact that they're both adjacent and it could go either way. is making it that much more interesting
Mhm.
between the two. And honestly, the fact that they just have different types of Kojo decks too. And
Yeah, that's great.
if I'm Razorluck, like I've seen a lot of cards that I'm not used to seeing coming from Wonder Raccoon, so they may still have another card that I haven't seen or that I may not expect in another Kojo deck. And so I got to just be a little bit wary of that. And so they are going to slow play here with that Haven Sarengar.
Yeah, and LJ Alex on the chat has said that you can't do the double hunger. Absolutely, but you can still one for one because that hunger from the top would have not had any, how would I call it? Um, it wouldn't have been have fleeting, so therefore you just play on the other side. Wow, let's see what's going to happen.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been an option if he played it first, but I was just
Mhm.
assuming that he might not. But we'll see. We do see the Fire Rabbit being played, giving everything a boost. I wonder if we'll ever see that Aerolith come into play.
Not sure. Now, just a little bit of education for people if they want to know. So, if you look at the Twinkle Twinkle text, the discard ability, the next card you play this turn costs one less. You cannot activate it and not play a card and assume you're going to play it next. Sorry, play a card that's not a character, and then decide to play. So you has to be done. Turn means that same day at that same sequence.
Yeah,
There were some times that we were using, I guess, when it was early on and people started playing, that they would activate stuff that they'd play the next day, and it's like it doesn't work, or the next action following the one you're taking.
yeah,
So
yeah. You can't like play a character. You can't like do something
play a
else.
spell. If it says something, your next character, and you play a spell, no, that
Yeah,
turn is over. The turn is before it goes to your opponent.
for sure. We do
So,
see the Skater come out here.
ooh,
Interesting. So they're not going
hey,
to be playing the Priya. They have another three costs that they have left in hand. I'm curious to see if it's some type of interactable as far as
or
removal is
removal.
concerned. Yeah, or if they're just gonna prior that companion zone. They know that Twinkle Twinkle is still available, and it could still hit that Buddha, so they have to have some type of backup plan, I'd have to imagine, for that.
So, what would I play? I'm worried. I would wait to play out the Valamon till later, given now you don't feel that there's any. Like, would you play the sleep or discard down the sleep?
I mean, it really doesn't matter. I mean, they could play the Valamon now, and even if it gets interacted with, they can sleep, whatever that they could
Mm,
still sleep the Sarengar, which wouldn't be a bad play. And because they wouldn't get the card draw, and they would still advance 1-1
mhm,
into an arena. They'd have to deal with the Sarengar later, obviously, but it just depends. Again, I don't know what's in hand though, so they may have a better play from that perspective. And they could also just want to be saving the Valamon for a potential arena tiebreaker
mhm.
too, which would might not be a bad play. So they will play the Tengu here first and leave themselves the option of either playing the Valamon or the Twinkle Twinkle.
Mm.
Um, and the other Kojo can see everything that's on the board, but I don't think it's gonna matter because I think they'll probably only have 1 play here, whether it's a 2 cost or a 3 cost.
Agree. Been a very rough game, tough game. Really good. Good. Two different styles of playing Gojo.
Yeah, definitely. It's been a fun one. Glad we are able to take a look at it here in the round 4 of the AWOL Monday, weekly number 5. Be sure to subscribe and hit. Um, yeah, waiting for Razorluck here to go here on the top Kojo.
So many decisions to make. The positive side for Razorluck is like Wonder Raccoon has no cards in hand. But they won't need to mana next turn, given the Tiny Gen is going to give them the equal mana opportunity when it leaves reserve.
Yeah, I think the only downside is they'll still only have 1 character in reserve to utilize those havens,
Hmm.
assuming that they keep the Twinkle Twinkle. Well, I mean, technically, I guess they're probably gonna use one of these cards here. If they use the Veilmon, they'll only have 1 character in reserve in the Tango. If they use the Twinkle Twinkle, they'll will have 2 characters that will be helpful, 'cause I have to imagine they're probably not going to keep the, The milk? In fact, I think they're kinda hoping that they can get the one for one with the companion zone over the hero zone because they wanna keep that milk out there for a boost and not having to pay for it. I
Hmm.
don't think they're gonna be able to do that. I think, um, Razorluck's gonna be aware of that, and they're gonna play around it if they decide to go to a tiebreaker. They're taking their time here. It's not frozen, right?
No, it's not.
Okay.
At least the
Um,
clock is still ticking down for me.
yeah, still waiting on Razorluck then. They are gonna airlift here, interesting.
Oh,
So they run into the Tiny Gen,
hmm. Yes, the tiny gin. Oh,
and they just play straight up the Leviathan spotter. Okay.
okay. So sleep the. You can't sleep the. Oh, geez, that's a rough one for them.
Um,
What would you sleep?
Probably the Sarengar.
Yeah, so you don't get they don't get the card draw.
Yeah,
Um, Berengar, it's actually the only one that will give them the don't give them the card draw. Yeah,
yeah.
good job.
Probably the most ideal play here, and they'll have to deal with it in the arena tiebreaker. But they're probably feeling okay having two characters in reserve here between the Tango and the Veilmon. Veilmon will have the 10 mana setup, assuming
I know, right?
they decide to mana, but you also may just not oh, yeah, I forgot the ramp, so they don't have to worry about the mana. So, yeah, I mean, they could decide to keep both cards here. They'll have that Veilmon that they've had since the very beginning of time, to potentially ramp up here. But then you also have to be so very wary of the potential of removal from the top Kojo, because otherwise you've saved this card for the entirety of the game for this moment, and it could just get removed in a second. So we'll have to see if that is the play. If they try to hold off and play other cards first, I'm not sure. Top Kojo isn't in a bad spot either. The Priyas are really good in stats for four. Leviathan Spotter could be helpful as well as far as drawing a card. Don't know what's in the hand, so this could
Oh,
go either way.
yeah, the the tough one. The positive side for Wonder Raccoon, the bottom Kojo, is that they're going to have the Kojo, the Buddha token in play as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and only behind on the forest stats. Let's see. Do they have removal? We haven't seen a removal card at all from either player.
Yeah,
If
it's
I'm
gonna
correct.
yeah, it's gonna be come down to do they have removal and then do they have a sabotage here? Because that could also be a pretty big one.
Oh, absolutely. And we haven't seen sabotage either, have we? We haven't seen anything.
No, we haven't.
No interaction whatsoever from both players. Oh, we had Twinkle Twinkle. Sorry, I apologize.
Mean, it's also not too surprising. It feels like a lot of Bravos players are prioritizing just a lot of tempo-based characters at this
Mhm.
as far as their decks are concerned, and maybe just a couple, if any, spells, to go along with that, but, see what happens. Leviathan's
Yep.
played, but
Uh,
doesn't hit.
no. Oof. All right, let's see what's happening here. So we're now looking at 966 against 455, both players with 8 mana available to them. We do know the Valamon in and of itself is getting the double boost, which would be great. Oh,
Has his own Valmon.
I know. Look at that. Can he play all the cards? And if Wonder Raccoon wins, this is going to be amazing because it looks so difficult. But an 888 gigantic is going to give you 16, sorry, 777 gigantic is going to give you 14 levels of stats available to you.
Yeah, and that'll be
All
enough.
right. Is it is it going to be enough? It is. It is going to be enough. No, maybe it's not. Let's like I'm going to wait for the count to come out. No, no. Yes. Yes. Oh, Wonder Raccoon's done it.
Yep, gets the 2 at the mountain
Oh
in the
my
water.
word.
The difference of having those havens out,
Oh, that was
was the big one there. Wonder Raccoon able to take it over Razorluck with
and
the,
really, yeah, with Valamon waiting in reserve since day 1 or day 2, ridiculous. That's a great way for me to say bid you farewell. I do need to get back into the office.
yeah,
Always good to talk to you, man. I'll say this, it's always entertaining when I'm on the cast with you, buddy.
definitely
Hope
glad
to
to have you. Feel free to do some shout outs as you're leaving, and, we'll catch you later.
Yeah, just join us on a Hero's Guide to Asgartha on the podcast. It has come down a little bit in terms of our audience the last few weeks. I think because of Worlds, people are taking a little bit of time off, but hopefully we get back up to where we were. But looking forward to getting back to this game as we Game Found is only a couple of thousand off, giving us 3 uniques in our box that we buy.
Definitely. Be sure to check out the game found everyone, and,
All right,
stay tuned to see how things are gonna turn out. Catch you later, Chili.
see you, buddy. Bye.
All right, everyone. You are watching the Altered Weekly Online League Monday Weekly number 5, season 4. We're in round 4, but after that long game, we actually just have one left before we get into round 5, and it will be the second to the last round here on this Monday Weekly. We could jump into the table to see if it's still going and if we'll catch the end of it here. Some players that we've seen already in Maddox and Fernico. And they're dead even at the moment. Argent able to keep pace here, finding the cards that they need, opposed to what they saw earlier. So should be good there. And we'll see how this one ends up turning out. Still 3 mana left though for Nico on the top. Still 2 cards in hand, and they still have the trace ability actually to work with as well. So it should be interesting to see what they can play with. Arjun, I don't know what they could do for 1 mana. They may have another card to resupply, but I don't think there's going to be much past that. They're able to get the scout off of the Tellurian Skater. So able to get one more boost on the setup there, giving them the option to try to convert here for the 1 for 1 and go to an arena. But with that play and the Grims hitting the reserve, they're gonna be able to get enough boosts. They could sacrifice as well to get another brass bug out, but it doesn't matter. They will get the victory here, and the victory goes to Trace for Nico Rico over Maddox. And that will be the end of round 4, and we will head on over to round 5. Once again, want to thank everyone that has joined us thus far. I am Blue Oak TV. Chili was here, but had to go back to work. So I'm all you got here for the rest of the day. We got 2 more rounds to get through, and then we will crown our champion. We currently have 6 undefeated players, and we'll be watching the top tables here for this point on, and see who can take it all. Let's do table 3. I don't think we've seen either of those players between Wycrom and Insane 94. And we'll head straight to the game. Probably get them loading some game art and deciding on the mana. Ooh. Does everyone think of the board game arena rebrand? I don't think I've ever talked about that yet since they did it. Interesting, right? I don't think it's bad. I just don't know if I like it. A lot of just like random shadow adding. I don't get it. And we'll just keep on refreshing until the game pops up. No big deal. All right, and we are good to go. We have another Traced versus Kojo matchup, and a Traced here with an Inari setup here for Insane. Not a card I expected to see. Inari will get immediately sabotaged though. Probably a good idea since I'm pretty sure it's a the use of that ability was the reason why it was in this trace deck. We will just see the immediate play of the Suha. Really a great card in the Bravos as far as an out of faction card. See a lot of people use it these days. And yeah, here we go. We do see the Ouroboros Lear Bastion, which would have been great there with the Inari. Instead, they're going to opt just to play that and keep the frozen delivery and keep on being able to use that. And woo, helping hand on the Suha. What a play. That's going to hit whatever they decide to use here. And we'll have one less card in the reserve. Probably going to go with the Inari here so that way they can keep cycling, hit all the counters as they can, as much as they can before it getting the next card getting sabotaged. So not the worst case scenario for Trace, but not a good one here, especially since they are about to get 2 0'd as well. And a unique Tooth Fairy as well. I just did not see that one coming. Inari doesn't even have a chance to get played. It doesn't really matter for the Suha. Um, I wouldn't have been surprised if the Kojo decided to hold on to it, but they just didn't want to give the opportunity for that trace to keep cycling. Now we'll see though what the Kojo decides to keep. I have to imagine they're gonna get rid of the helping hand. Maybe I don't know. Maybe the Suha if they don't have anything else to keep on recycling it. But almost positive that we'll keep, the Tooth Fairy, and indeed we do. Some reason my, headphones don't seem like they're working again because I don't hear anything. Let me check the audio. Weird. Must be just the browser. We do see a unique of their own here for the trace. It is an Axiom Salvager, and from anywhere you may put a card from your hand in reserve. If you do, resupply. That's a really good one, especially in this type of deck. And there will be another unique that hits the reserve, and because they did that, they'll get to activate that Ouroboros Lear Bastion once again. Gonna opt for the Chronicler, which will put them in a good spot to keep on recycling. And that Ysmir Stargazer is 2 from reserve, 3 from hand, 0, 1, 2 in stats. When a card leaves your reserve during the afternoon, if you control 2 or more landmarks, create a brass bug and target expedition. So we know what they're going for here, but it looks like it probably will get sabotaged. Yes, it will. Opting to hit that so it doesn't get online, opposed to dealing with that Chronicler that is going to be able to cycle things a little bit here. We will see the potential of all 5 counters being on the trace, ready to go here on day 3. Gonna test something here to make sure that I can still hear audio. Give me a second. Yeah, audio's fine. I just can't hear the game audio specifically. That's what was getting me a little bit surprised. Ooh, and we do see the Bravos Vanguard hit the board. It's a good one here for the Corgan Operative. So we may get to see that play on a following day here to hit some sabotage, more sabotage on the Trace player. More than likely, I think we're going to lose that Aerolith. Yeah, makes sense. Oh, a Gibble would also be a nice one, as expected. So Traced is moving through their deck quite handedly at this moment. They are still down on the tumult though. The Kojo player, especially with a Buddha turn, is going to have the advantage here going in. But will they have enough resources? Are they going to start falling behind to this Trace player who's essentially gone through more than half of their deck at this moment? And will not be surprised if we'll see them get through the entire thing here quite soon. But in the meantime, a second Haven hits the board, not another one, not a bad choice at all. And we do still have 4 mana left, so we could definitely see the Suha into the Vanguard play if they so choose. But we'll have to see how Trace initially responds here. We will see another, their third unique card at this moment, the Mowgli. When a card leaves your reserve during the afternoon, if you control 2 or more landmarks, create a brass bug and target expedition. So they are finally set up here for that unique setup that we saw earlier on the Izmir Stargazer, where they can start just creating brass bugs at will. It seems like, especially with all those support abilities on all 4 characters at the moment, and being able to see what they can pull out, opting for the mechanic. Yeah, at this point, they can just play the, bugs for free on however they wanna set up here. The question is are they gonna go for the 2-0 here purely just to do it? No, nothing there as far as, like, support abilities, so they are gonna opt for the Grims. Don't imagine that they are going to sacrifice either of their permanents because they need it in order to use that Mowgli correctly, and they are just gonna straight up play that Salvager, putting a card in reserve and being able to resupply. Still putting them in a pretty good spot. More than likely still gonna see the Vanguard played here for the Kojo just to remove the fleeting from the Suha, I have to imagine. And the fact that it gets 2 boosts will not be a bad thing, thus forcing the Trace to at least utilize some more of the cards that they have in reserve and, still producing those bugs, obviously, but, making them use resources is the biggest thing at the moment, especially with only 2 mana left. We will see the Lyric Chronicler go. They may at this point just decide to keep that Abandoned Depot to get the card draw and then have it sacrificed for another resupply. Still will need some discard here to stop the Kojo on that hero side. Decided to play on the companion side there just to confirm that. Going to play that Abandoned Depot for the 1 cost. Will get the card draw and produce that bug. Now putting themselves in a spot for a 2-0. Question is, do they want to play anything else? They decide not to. They get the double advance and put themselves dead even on the tumult after going down early. But that Suha will get a sabotage, and I have to imagine it's going to hit that Mowgli. Yep, and so that'll be all 3 uniques there for the Trace player, including both of the uniques that have the creation of the brass bugs when something leaves the reserve. So now the big thing will be, based off of that, does the Trace have anything else that's gonna be able to produce as many stats and deal with anything that this Kojo player can put out as we head to the 7 mana turn? Still the ability to use the support ability of the Inari here to keep on cycling. At this point, though, I don't know if they would rather use it for the stats. Armor Jammer is a big play though here. Gonna hit that Suha that's been recycled a few different times. Does not want to give the opportunity to the Kojo to keep on using it in that fashion. But still plays a second one from hand, of course. That one will cost 3 at least, not 1. Almost surprised. Yeah, I think that we may see the Inari be used. No, he's not gonna use the Inari to sabotage the skater. I thought that they may decide to do that, um, in order to, prevent the Kojo from playing it, um, and just leave them with the 1 card in hand as far as moving forward, which I thought would be the preference here, but, doesn't seem like they want to. Now we'll see a pretty big skater on the board and stats that'll be difficult to overcome. for the trace. So yeah, I definitely thought we might get to see a sabotage there, but opting instead to use that frozen delivery and keep on cycling through. They keep on cycling. At this point, it feels like they're just cycling to potentially run into one of those uniques again. Now that they've gone through their entire deck, and they're just prioritizing the idea of playing in that fashion because they do still have 4 mana, and I believe both of them are 2 from reserve, so it shouldn't be any issue finding it. And they do end up finding the Mowgli. So now they'll be able to play the Mowgli. They do have at least one discard ability coming from the Inari. Kojo ideally would have some type of removal for the Mowgli, but does not, and is going to have to deal with a bunch of bugs. I still feel like they could have forced the sabotage on the skater just in case, but obviously shouldn't have an issue now as far as producing the right amount of bugs in order to they
Boom.
need. Well, hi, Chili.
Hello. It is I, Chili. Listen to Hero's Guide to Asgartha and listen twice and tell your whole family members to listen. How is everyone doing out there? And what we're are we still watching Insane?
Yeah. I thought you were gonna say, listen to Hero's Guide to Scartha and, Flesh and Blood.
Oh yes. And I used to play Flesh and Blood. I don't know if you know, but in Flesh of Blood.
Uh, Good old Chili. Yeah, we're watching that game. A lot of, bugs being produced here.
Yeah, what is Insane up to these days? Let's see, a Mowgli when a card leaves. Okay, I mean, that's pretty nice.
Yeah, and just has a bunch of, support triggers that has already cycled through his deck once, and it's about to cycle through it the second time here.
And that restocking station that at first glance doesn't seem, that crazy, but when you see it in play and you kind of consider further what it does, there's already people calling for an errata to this card specifically. So, um, the Suha taking out that Mowgli though is pretty clutch.
Yeah, it's been doing that, and he's been able to cycle, a previous Suha, like, 3 times already with, like, a Helping Hand and a Bravos Vanguard, but with the ability that, Insane's been able to just cycle through their entire deck, they've been able to run back into the Mowgli, and they also have a Ysmir Stargazer that does the same thing, to a point where they can just keep on going, and as long as they have something that triggers that Ouroboros, they'll find the card eventually and then just be able to produce a lot of bugs.
Both sides are just playing the game of keeping around their one thing as much as possible.
Pretty much, but, was working better for Lycrom on the Kojo initially, but, it seems like as the game goes forward, Insane's just slowly taking the advantage despite Lycrom having 2 Havens on the board.
Let's see. Two bastions for stocking station is gone, but like you've said, they're just gonna keep recycling through things. In the view that I can see, I was gonna say I only can see one unique so far, but here's the other one. You may put a card from your hand in reserve. If you do resupply, having two of those bastions is gonna make that super interesting.
Yep, that's the only unique that they have that doesn't produce the brass bugs, and it's just used a little bit for some more resupply action to put stuff in reserve until they can get some more support abilities and get things off, and they're down to 3 cards in their deck again, and about to make it through a second time here shortly, I have to imagine.
3 cards left. Shows that Wycrom is thinking on my side. See if that's true or not. It is true. Okay.
Haven Bouncer. I don't imagine so many people start playing that card again.
You gotta get rid of the salvager, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I mean, that feels like probably the better play. I guess they could get rid of Paju, just because it's a support ability, but probably the Salvager because it cycles. Um, and unless they have something in hand here that will help them cycle, which I don't think they do. Um, uh, maybe this may be the first turn we don't see them cycle a whole bunch of stuff. Finally, and maybe Wycrom can take advantage of that. They don't have a whole lot to work with though, and everything that they have is on the board. So technically, the Grims can still put them in a rough spot here if they so choose, because we will see the Aerolith come out, and then the Grims can just sacrifice that for um, some brass bugs instead of just taking out one of the Havens.
Yeah, that is a really cool little turn there. Get what you want, which is the resupply from the oh, all right, what do we got here?
Same type of
Yep.
unique.
I feel like this is a hard choice right now though between these two.
Because he knows it's gonna get sabotaged. Wait, never mind. It's on fleeting. I thought he had removed the fleeting from the Suya. Never mind. He can stay.
Yeah, just a hard choice between keeping the restocking station or the stargazer. As we were kind of talking about before the Grims, there's not really anything that would be available to put something in reserve. Um, and then looks like just I looked at the discard. What did they do? Play Depaju?
Yeah, from hand.
Makes sense. Now this turn though, with Traced starting first and having a Paju and this Stargazer available and Kojo down 2, seems like it would be very hard for Kojo to come out on top here.
Yeah, I mean, as long as the trace hits something that has the ability to trigger the Ouroboroses, and they can just constantly chain that. I don't know what White Chrome's going to be able to do here, especially being down already on the tumult. It would be different if they were ahead and they might be able to stack on one side, but that does not seem to be the case. And if I see the traceability go off and I see an Anari or anything go to the reserve, I'm gonna go ahead and just surrender because there's no way I'm gonna be able to deal with all those bugs.
Yeah, let me it told me you had drawn 3 cards. Okay. Um I don't think there was a draw of 3 cards there, but funny little bug, I guess, just translating what they were saying here at the table.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Good old BGA getting to do stuff. In noon, no mana. Players keeping both of the cards. Immediately playing the Stargazer. Does not want to chance the possibility of it getting sabotaged.
Yeah, I guess right now, oh well, the players play too fast for me to speculate. I was gonna say, I guess right now would not be a terrible time for a hunger, depending on what this last card is. But yeah, traceability was still available, so I guess it would have been bad. But yeah, I'm just seeing if there's any way possible for Kojo to come out here, and I think it's just Dunzo. Oh, and there's the Mowgli.
Yeah. Another one. It does leave it make it interesting though if there's anything that they have that can put some more cards in reserve. If they don't, I don't know how much it matters. We'll see how many stats they can produce to block over on that side. Obviously, that's a pretty big bouncer. They're going to go ahead and discard here for that. Maybe they run into the third Ouroboros here with that discard. Um, nope, Haven of their own. That's going to resupply, and there's the supportability, and that's pretty much all she wrote. As long as they can keep chaining here, it's not looking too good, and I imagine they also have something else left to play with for 2 mana. Um, and, yeah, Vanguard will come out, um, and they're not gonna even bother playing it for the ability. Um, and, Insane just has free reign at this point, doesn't need to do it, but to prove a point is gonna activate the support ability and can keep on activating support abilities constantly here to produce as many brass bugs as they want. I assume just enough to be able to double advance here. And they nope, they're just gonna put more on that side? Okay, never mind.
Yeah. The Haven Bouncer was a good start there, getting a boost from reserve and then getting boosts from the Bravos Bastion, but unfortunately not enough when you can chain together so many resupplies. Um, it is very interesting to watch this deck because it's, bug fix without bug fix, but it's also three uniques just kind of paired together very well to create what you want to do. I don't know. Some people are probably, calling for some kind of fix to this, but I mean, what can you do? Wait for a rotation?
Yeah. I'm gonna go to table 2 real quick because it's on a tiebreaker. Let's see if we can catch the end of it. Duel of Grit, big play, hits the hunger that never mind, Duel of Grit hit itself. Oh, okay, I couldn't because it only had a 3 cost out. Sucks. GG,
Oof.
hunger for the arena win. GG's our start, and I'm back. I think most of, round 5 is actually done. I think there might be 1 or 2 games left.
Let's see. Table 21. What are you looking like?
21 is the last one left, so may as well go there. 21. Once again, I want to thank everyone that has joined us. Altered Weekly Online League, Season 4, Monday Weekly number 5. We are at the very end of round 5. We will have one more round after this to decide the champion of the player who went undefeated and is the best. Um,
Yeah, so Atsadi hit Sierra with the classic Sakurabru. Looks like it's already happened once before. Unless Sierra has absolutely nothing, Rage is nice, but should see a way to where Sierra can double move here. And Ben Zaiten in a deck like this is interesting. I guess you're gonna count on being behind when you're
yeah,
around 6 mana and then switching to the Sakurabus. But I really like the Moonlight Jellyfish in Axiom, kind of having a new little home. I've seen it a couple different games now.
yeah, I've been trying it out in my Sierra decks on occasion. I think Benzaitin's also a pretty cool one that can take advantage of the Eat Me energy bars. I believe back in the day when we saw more of his videos, Elio was messing around with that too. But yeah, we're gonna get boomed here, and what do you know? They found a way to do the 2-0 like you mentioned.
Yeah. that's why I'm a Sokka hater.
You're a Sokka hater?
Yeah, I think it's an annoying card, but I don't think it is actually that good. I think
Oh, I thought you just didn't like boomerangs.
yeah, I'm more of a Toph fan myself, so
Toph is top tier. Still disappointed that that other card game didn't do commander decks for them. What can you do? All right, but we're heading to the next day here, fairly even as far as resources are concerned, but we are pretty high up in the mana direction, so that makes you think, what can the Saudi play to make it more difficult for this Sierra? Are we gonna see any me energy bars come out? Are we gonna see something else? Or are we just gonna see a hunger? You know? I mean, just play the hunger. Why not?
Yeah, this is another one kind of risky, but where Atsadi is face to face, it makes it not as bad. And then having 3 mana, um, I would assume a rage play is coming out, and then maybe even like a Tolarian Skater or something. Or damn, this Sierra just has all the answers.
Yeah, hit him with the Merlin, as is customary in Sierra decks. You always gotta include a Merlin.
Right?
Um, Unique tiny gen, when I leave the expedition zone if I have 2 more boosts. So it activates itself from hand. Alright, cool. You don't even need to play it from reserve. Why not? Rampant.
That's cool. I like that.
Question is, does Sierra have 5 mountain to make it work, or at least to stop it?
Four mana, what would you want here as Sierra? That's a good start. Um, 1 mana though, what would you want? I think that's the hard part is what for 1 mana does Sierra want?
They probably have a mechanic that will tie, but that doesn't look
Ooh,
like they have it. So they end up losing by the
unfortunate.
smallest of margins, even with the response to the hunger.
Unfortunate. Well played though. How's everyone in chat doing this lovely Monday? Today's Monday, right?
It
Yeah.
is Monday. It is the beginning of the week, and we're heading to the beginning of round 6, the final round for this AWOL Season 4, Monday Weekly, number 5, and we will get to watch, let's just watch 2 of the undefeated players. It's Insane versus Epsilon. R Stark is also no, wait, who else is undefeated? Yeah, R Stark is also undefeated, so technically he could still win, but, yeah, PGA. So table 1.
All right, Epsilon better be playing Navenka. Can't have the world champion Navenka profile picture and not play Navenka.
Oh, Hurricane's in here too. Hurricane, are you casting right now? You on stream? Say hi, hi Hurricane. Here, there.
Hurricane? Who's Hurricane? I feel like I recognize people better by pictures sometimes. Let's Google this.
All right. Let's switch on over to the gameplay.
I thought for a second you meant someone jumped into our whatchamacallit VDO lobby.
No, 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 just from the game here.
Yeah. I see it now. Brain is only a little behind.
And we have the starting off strong here for the Trace player playing in that Nari. Gonna be a lot of stats, and you know what? Saudi's fine with it. They're gonna say, "I'll take a draw and I'll ramp to myself." Maybe even have a tiny gen here play. Tiny gen play? Oh, they hit the tiny gen! Oh my god! 1 for 1. Who would have thought?
That is pretty nice there. I am always very happy when I see an Saudi do a progression day, and I assume anyone playing Traced would be even more happy to see that. But now it's a 1 for 1.
1 for 1. Saudi going into the 5 mana. Players are speaking French in the chat. I have no clue what they're saying, but what are you gonna do? I
What are you
sent
gonna do?
I sent a reel to you and the altered Instagram yesterday or the day before, comparing the Digivolution of Gabumon to Garurumon. I just love the French version.
Yeah.
Garurumon.
Yeah, I saw it just earlier today while I was sitting on the couch. The French one starts out, like, all subtle, and then when
Yeah.
it gets to the freaking evolution, it's just like
Yeah, man, let it go. Leviathan Spotter, rare, hitting the board here for the Itzadi. Usually, you have something big that you can show and you can draw off of it. So we'll see how that's played from reserve. And it's just solid stats for 2 costs, right? So may as well. And then we're already seeing the start of the resupplying. Is there ever a situation in Sane that you don't get Ouroboros from the start? And that you can't just play that immediately on day 2? Like, come on, man. Either way, we will see an abandoned depot, get some card draw, and already at 3 counters for Trace. Why not? But we do get to see a double advance here for the Itzade. So seeing that they can take the early lead on the Trace before they get too far ahead with their setup here. But you'd never know. 7 mana turn here for the Itzade.
Yeah, gonna be very nice, especially Christ ability isn't online yet, going to have a mana advantage, and taking progressions more than just, setting up slowly like you sometimes see Saudi do. A guy trying is preparing for locals using Rinku's Nadir deck. Nice, nice. Let us know when that is and how it goes, and if you hit the 0 in 3 or 4 or 4-0 the other way around.
All right, we did get to see that spotter come out. We're showing the Amarok, of course. Get a card draw here. 5 mana left to play. Whoa, just the dry lyric chronicler from hand. Just raw dogged it all over the expedition like that. Are you allowed to do that? I thought it was only ever supposed to be in reserve. But instead, we do see that Amarok that we saw earlier. Still 2 mana left to play with here. Can they catch up on that companion side to get enough? Ooh, another Leviathan spotter. Just what they needed. Get another double advance. Insane is responding in French. They don't know what's going on. Um,
The MDR though.
yeah, the MDR I actually understand.
It is pretty interesting. I mean, outside of the play we're seeing here, the Leviathan spotter, I'm pretty sure when you were spectating, you used to leave the card revealed, but I think both on my screen and your screen, it just flashes it real quick and then you don't see it revealed. I'm not sure if it changed that way entirely or just for spectating or what, but very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there again, we technically know what card it is, but it doesn't stay revealed. If anyone has seen it in a game that they're actively playing, let me know if that change is new or what. We have one of the uniques out though, and a double Paju. That's gonna be a pretty nice turn for Insane here.
Indeed. We do have that Mowgli finally hit the board though. So we will see bugs. Bugs, bugs, bugs.
Man. And the Inari.
It's everywhere.
Oh gosh. So it begins.
Chronicler. Yep. Just not enough time. He's only at 6 mana and he's already started it.
And has enough mana to also put out the Stargazer. Do you put it out now though? Let's feel like you would save it, right? Get rid of the Paju, then you're gonna have both the Mowgli and the Stargazer for next turn.
Yeah, they probably don't need to play it here, especially if they don't have a restocking station to remove fleeting. They have enough stats, and Atsadi can't
Mm.
really do anything else.
2 mana, what you got at Saudi?
Jesus, so many cards. So many cards. Hunger. It's
Ooh.
hunger, Atsadi. Hunger. Hit the hunger. Please. End it.
Now you just need to somehow find a way to work in anchoring to this deck, and, it's just a menace.
Atsadi needs the hunger. Hunger. Hunger.
Man, I didn't even think about it until just now, but discarding down the aeroliths at the end of turn also is going to activate the Bastion. So wild. I feel like this could be a pretty viable deck even without the uniques right now. Just counting on those aeroliths and the Lyra Bastion, and now you get to go into the next day with 4 cards in reserve.
Still a lot of ability to use his support abilities here. So I don't know. You have to hit hunger at this point, otherwise you're just constantly giving up 2 O's. I don't know what other option, Epsilon has for the Atsadi.
Oh, there is the hunger. And Simon started a AI fight in the Discord. All is well.
AI, AI.
Okay, so back to this game. Oh, this is just GG, right?
Yeah.
Like, dang. What a way to see like the contrast
Oh,
um
rage, more.
uh of Insane doing so well last game on the Traced, and then just a perfectly tuned Atsadi coming in and destroying it quickly. I feel like some Axiom enjoyers have been complaining about this for months now, but I mean, if your deck falls apart to, 1 or 2 matchups guaranteed, then it's not as strong of a deck as it could be.
Yep. Well, congratulations, Epsilon. Now we go back to see if, was it Aristark was able to stay undefeated too?
R Stark against AD and
Yep,
I guess.
yep. Looks like they oh, yeah, let's watch it. Table 2. Table 2, go, 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 go.
Yeah, I was before leaving my living room, I was watching your interview with Rinku. I haven't
Mm,
finished it yet. And the way that he talks about the testing up to the event and taking the weakest deck and playing it against certain things repeatedly and seeing what the result was.
mhm.
And if the result was bad, then it's like, okay, well, that's not consistent enough. So I think it's a really good and interesting approach. And that's when you see things like that happen where if you're good against, 80% of the field, but you go up against that other 20% at the very top, then you might not win.
Exactly. A lot of good cards here though for our start. See if they're able to convert this into a win.
The Looking at the Fen deck here, don't see any uniques yet. Seems like a very straightforward Fen deck. Um, almost was thinking it was Singleton for a moment, but I do see two ink casters here. The Anansi able to go up against the Cuckoo and still come out on top is pretty cool. And then there's going to be some other options here for Fen as well to get two more, well, three more really water, depending on what they have available in hand. I do not know enough about other card game to specifically know about Tooth and Nail and then Death Cloud. But I assume it's a board wipe.
Colorful cuckoo. Do, do, do,
I
do.
mean, instead of going for the double advance, this is also a really just great play in general. Likely meaning that you couldn't advance and block, or maybe you couldn't advance at all. So put the aloe to sleep. Better to keep that around than just try to throw a bunch of stuff out. Getting rid
Yeah,
of the Anansi over the Amale is interesting. And then I believe Basira got rid of the Inkcaster, or I just missed the sequencing there.
yeah. Looks like they got rid of the Incaster just for cost reduction. And yeah, I mean, it should be. I mean, it should be a close one now because I mean, the Finn has a big card advantage at this point. So
Yeah, it was actually the Tooth Fairy unique also
mm,
got rid of something, so it was double sabotage on Basira's part.
I gotcha.
Oh, Nick, you silly bastard.
Silly goose. Oh, magical trading. Why not draw a card?
How do you feel about the rare colorful cuckoo? Obviously, it's your only choice in
Bravos.
Bravos, but just in general, the add-on of the um ramp. What do you think?
I like it. I mean, I've been playing with it with just about any Bravo stick that I've made thus far. Um, and I also just like the idea of the cuckoo and the idea that people just don't want to play over there after you play it. So it's like, cool. I mean, if you're gonna give me a free expedition for 111 in stats, fine.
Yeah, I when I was at locals on Thursday, that was definitely a complaint that I heard in my matchups is like you just throw that down and then I can't do anything over there. It's like, well, I mean, technically you can, but a little
Yeah,
harder.
yeah. I like. I mean, obviously, you can play it in good spots where you know, like a Sigismar is gonna play a recruit.
Hmm.
You can play it on anytime you know someone's about to set up on the following day, whether it be a Buddha or whatever else, right? So, or even what you call it. You don't see a lot of Zen and Zephyr, but you could play it on the ascended side because you know they want to play on that side, but then they can't. So it's tough luck.
Gonna try it in the Muna deck. The next thing I was gonna say is I don't like Rare Cuckoo and Muna. Um, Although if you're using the rare in a Muna ramp deck, makes sense. If you're not playing a ramp deck, there's no sense in playing the rare. And Muna ramp is kind of dead. I don't think I've seen it for a long time.
Yeah, bring back Hydra.
Yeah, since Leal, I think Leal was really the last like time we've seen Muna ramp.
Yeah, bring back Hydra.
I think my Muna deck is actually in a really good spot right now, as good as a Muna deck that isn't mass anchoring can be. Of course, it's Tasia. I don't think Cowrie has the support there yet. As much as Chili says there's two playable Muna heroes now, I think it's still just one. Next set though, it might become three because the new Muna hero is very good, and then I think there will maybe be more support that make Cowrie decks better. So
Stacking, keep on stacking.
what do you got, Finn? You have the Anansi, I guess. That should be enough, right? To
Yeah, it should be.
block.
Yeah, that's all they need to do is block.
Yeah, but if you want to keep the aloe out, maybe you have. Oh, interesting. Gonna, I
There's
guess,
some
use the.
there's something for 1 or 2. Something for 2 with the cost reduction.
Yeah.
They're gonna use all of that? Yeah, I guess they're gonna use all of it, so they don't have to discard. Oh, no, it's Sapduende.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
all right, all right.
There we go. There we go. Take all those stats from the Bravos Blade Dancer. Wow.
Beautiful. Love it.
1 stat for you. Congrats.
That was actually a very nice play to kind of equalize the game here, where it was seeming like it was gonna still be a little rough for Fen, but not only does it remove all of those boosts from the Blade Dancer for next turn, but also managed to even it up on the expedition.
Indubitably, and like I said, I think this is gonna be a really, tough situation here for the Basir player. I think they really needed that advance on that previous day, and even with that colorful cuckoo out on the board, I feel like the Finn is gonna potentially find a way around it and get a double advance of their own here, even if they have to give up a single for the Basir player, especially since they have to play things like that Blade Dancer from reserve for 3 and still only have 2 cards in hand.
Yeah, and as far as I can tell from the discard, there's only been one Sap Duende that we've seen. Obviously, it could be a one-off, but a one-off Sap Duende seems kind of weird. So maybe there's two or even three. Could be another little sneaky play here. Play into the cuckoo, boost it up as much as they want, and then just steal the boosts. But putting out a Martingale, well, yeah, and then the physical training also exists and adds more boosts you can just eat up with Septuende. So be very cool to see if that's how Fen answers the setup here.
Unique Paper Herald. From anywhere, you may put a card from your hand to reserve. If you do, you may return a card from your reserve to your hand. When you play another character with base statistic of 0, up to 1 target character with hand cost 3 or less other than me gains anchor. That's a fun Paper Herald. 22100 in stats.
Yep. If it only cost 1 mana, this would be like a $500 plus Paper Herald, but, maybe this one's more like 250.
Yeah, $250 Paper Herald. Not a bad one. Wonder how much they bought it for. Because there's no way that you just got it in a pack. I don't believe it.
Oh, the Mana Eruption, though.
What
Um,
world?
while it seems great, I think it's kind of the wrong time in the game for it.
They didn't have
Um,
a choice, man. It's all they had.
yeah, very unfortunate. Um, there is also notably water on this hero side. So usually this Will-O-the-Wisp is great just because of the quick action to reduce cost, but could be used to actually progress and take over here. Then we have to deal with the Blade Dancer. Oh, look at that. Do we have to deal with the Blade Dancer? I was gonna say, there it is. Tap to Winde.
The
Should
Winday.
have known it was coming. Too good not to.
Well, with that, it makes the decision a lot easier. BJ doesn't have to do any calculation, and we know who the winner is. GG's. See if there's any other games to play, or we can just wrap it up since we already know. Let's see here. Round 6 is down to a tiebreaker in table 22. Real quick. Go, do it. Go. Tiebreaker. Oh, it's over. Never mind. Um, no, there's another game. Am I missing it?
Table 5.
Oh, is that at a tiebreaker as well? It says 100% instead of 99%.
Oh, maybe someone forgot to discard down.
Maybe we're just quit.
Hmm.
Well, that leaves Epsilon as the only undefeated player. So Altered Aces Epsilon. Congratulations. See if we can refresh to see if it'll give us the other rankings. No, no, still waiting on that one table.
The table's just holding everyone hostage.
It's not even a hostage deck. Let's go to the game, see what's going on. Oh yeah, they're at discard one card. Petro, come on, just discard the card. You're gonna make everyone wait 3 minutes?
There's no way that they think they could win on time, right?
I don't know.
Ramping to Nike. What is the other plan? Other than Nike. What do we care about with Nike? Let's see. If it's a card nobody plays, I have to look it up. Target Expedition Ascends. I mean, a lot of people have been trying to make Ascended Muna work. I have not seen it yet. Some people say that they've had it work, but I don't know. Maybe a play around that. Otherwise, I don't know. Just a 4/4/4. Gotta think of what you build around with that. But there's some really good like Son of Yggdrasil uniques, things like that you can possibly find. And who knows? Oh, sorry.
Oh, it's a good choice. I would have gone with the bouncer myself. All right. GG's there. All right. We'll head on back. All right, everyone. We have the final rankings. I'm gonna pull them up.
Hmm.
Tournament results. Slide this up a little bit. There, there, there we go. Perfect. All right, cool. This is what we got. Altered Aces Epsilon in first place. Congratulations on the first place win. They had a clutch little hunger play there, as in a Saudi player, dealing with Insane 94, who is in second place in that milling trace deck until they can produce a bunch of brass bugs. Third place was AJT Spartacus. Fourth place, Aristarch loses that final round and is not able to go into that BGA tiebreaker to decide who goes first. Um, Fifth place, Gygus. I'm not sure to be honest. Sixth place, Sparlow. Seventh place, Fan Dumuna. Eighth place, Wex. Ninth, Totemet. 10th place, Telonius. 11th, Papiet. 12th place, Solark. Petro is in 13th. Sobek is in 14th. Petite Yoshi 15th and Aurore 16th. Is that everyone that did? I mean, that was past more than the five winners, but I just wanted to go to 16. Either way, Cole, won't keep you on too much longer, so you can go be sick some more. But any final words?
Um, Sign up for Wednesday. Come out and hang out on Wednesday. It should be a fun day. Not only is it the normal AWOL Wednesday with a stream, which I believe Gus will be hosting, and some Geo in there. We're also doing a basically the entire day streamathon. Even if I get too sick to do it on Wednesday, there will be plenty of other people who need the schedule for that. Just find it on Discord.
Yeah, people are
And
posting about it.
unique Nike makes a little more sense than rare, so that's pretty cool. But other than that, uh go throw a woolly back on your game found, and we'll see what awesome news we get once we hit 650K, which should probably happen tonight. So
So we indeed, once again, want to thank everyone that has joined us here for the Altered Weekly Online League AWOL Season 4 Monday Weekly number 5. I have been Blue Oak TV on YouTube, hashtag ad. This has been Kohlrabi for the last two rounds. Had Chili on earlier. Everyone have a good rest of your day. Go do some stuff on GameFound and bug your local game store to get a final order in, but I'm pretty sure that's closed already, depending on whenever they close the orders. Not sure exactly. Either way, talk to y'all later. Bye.